York Knicks in the NBA Finals for the first time since '99 after sweeping the Cavs to MLB. The Mariners offense unloaded yesterday in their series opener against the A's. It was a 9-2 win that included home runs from Luke Raley, Dom Canzone, J.P. Crawford, and Randy Arozarena. Game 2 today at 6:40 p.m. Mariners remain 1.5 games back and can make that up over the rest of the series.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Happy Tuesday. Now, the good news is that yesterday the Mariners got a win. And not only did they get a win, Bump, a very pronounced win. 9 runs on 12 hits, including 4 home runs. Luke Raley, Dom Canzone, J.P. Crawford, Randy Arozarena. Still some defensive questions, blah, blah, blah. But, overall, lineup performed. That's fantastic. Bump. The bad news, if there is bad news from a win, is that 2 starters seem very unhappy with piggybacking. Now, the piggyback worked in this case, but all of us have entered into Tuesday wondering whether or not the Mariners should stick with it. What did you think?
One, great job with the win. Getting that thing done. All the great performances you just talked about. Emerson, a game or two before having a 3-hit day when it showed himself just the weekend passed, and haven't been able to highlight him, but obviously the piggyback worked, but obviously Castillo had his feelings about it, slamming his jacket on the bench. And then you heard the interview from our guy Miller after the game saying it's not comfortable, but they also said, look, but every chance I get to pitch in the big leagues, I'm going to, I'm not going to take it for granted, and I appreciate it. So, yeah, the piggyback has been working on paper, but mentally, physically, spiritually, it looks like these guys might have issue with it.
Let's focus on that, because I got a lot of question here. Do player feelings matter? When do they matter? Is there another option here? And we're going to go over all of it. Let's first go to that interview you mentioned. We're going to go to cut number 3 here, Cash. It's Bryce Miller post-game with Brad Adam. Take a listen.
Is it getting more, comfortable now that you've done both situations?
This setup's not very comfortable. But like I said, at the end of the day, I get to come out and pitch in the big leagues, and something that I've dreamed about my whole life. So would I rather start the game? Yeah, but anytime I can be on the mound in the big leagues, I'll be grateful for it. So.
Now, he seemed uncomfortable. Luis Castillo just seemed angry. Yeah. Cameras showed him in the dugout throwing a glove. And this is someone, they call him the Rock. This is like a guy who's an emotional, steadfast kind of guy. And yet he was very upset. Let's go to cut number 4. This is on A's play-by-play. It's A's analyst Dallas Braden, confused as to why Castillo was pulled from the game.
And so for Luis Castillo to be as frustrated as he is, it's because of the dirt under his spikes. He has earned every right, in my opinion, to be back out there, to get the Lions' share of this piggyback split here. And if he's throwing the ball the way he has tonight, and if he has produced the way he has tonight, and you have the lead that you have tonight, help me understand why it's not Luis Castillo back out on the mound right now. I'm having a tough time wrapping my head around it.
Fair, and if your answer is that Luis Castillo hasn't been great so far this year, okay, but yesterday he was. And I got to agree with Dallas there. Yesterday I thought he deserved to go back out there. I was a little surprised that he came out as early. So, Bump, my first question, we just heard Bryce Miller sounding pretty uncomfortable, a little unhappy. Luis Castillo clearly looking unhappy. Do player feelings matter here? You got the win.
Yeah, it matters, but what was the plan going in? That's my thing. It's these guys, these 2 knew what the plan was going into that game. So I understand why Castillo would be upset, because he was playing some good ball. He was on point. Mm-hmm. But Dan and those guys told him this is going to be the situation. So there's one side of that thing. The other side is Dan telling them, but being able to adjust in the moment. Because that's what sports is too, right? At some point during a game, during a match, whatever, you have to make an adjustment. So an adjustment to me would be Dan saying, you know what, let's leave him out there a bit longer. He's doing good. Bryce, you can come in later, or we just go to the bullpen. Bryce will start you another day. That's where I have the biggest question is Dan not being able or not being willing to make that adjustment. And when we talk to people and then they text us, and a lot of the questions are in-game decision-making from Dan. That's the biggest thing. And there are only so many situations where he can have these in-game decisions. So, no, that would be my only concern is he willing and able to adjust if one of these guys do have to start and they're balling? Because I would have left them out there. But before the game, both these guys knew what the situation was. Doesn't mean they can't feel it some kind of way, though.
From the 206, Bump nailed it. The plan was just obviously not communicated clearly enough to these two players, and it's a massive issue moving forward. I absolutely agree. I think that something that makes sense on paper sometimes doesn't make sense for a clubhouse, makes sense for people, and ultimately you're managing people. And you can sit, let's say that you are behind a keyboard and you're getting ready to type, who cares? Who cares? Who cares about your feelings? Go out there and play. Stop crying. You're getting paid money to play a sport. Maybe that's your take. That's fine. But this isn't Little League. This is professional sports. And while guys are able to, in ways that I can't understand, compartmentalize injuries, failing in front of tens of thousands, sometimes millions of people, dealing with gut-wrenching news, dealing, you know what I mean? Like there's a professionalism there that's really admirable. There's also ego. There's also navigating personalities, alphas in a clubhouse, right? Like when you get to this level, you don't have a bunch of pushovers. You don't have a bunch of guys that lack confidence. That's why they're all here. And you need to navigate that accordingly. You cannot sit and just look at it like a spreadsheet. You need to navigate it like they're real people. And to your point, Bump, I don't know that that's being done really effectively now. It doesn't mean that you absolutely can't piggyback. I don't like it. It means that there's something getting lost in translation here.
It could be something getting lost or him just being mad because he was in the zone. I don't think that Castillo went into this game thinking that he was going to pitch 7 innings. I don't think he thought he was going to get up to 95 pitches. I think he went into this game understanding that, all right, we're in a piggyback situation, but things change within a game, and he's feeling good. You know, the release is on point. He's hitting his spots. He's like, yeah, you know what? I think that an experienced manager or maybe a different manager would say, let's just ride this hot hand a little longer. So, yeah, you have to take into account who these people are and how they feel about things, but what we don't know is what the conversations were like before this game or before the situation. Like, we can assume that these guys knew what the plan was going to be, and we can also assume or critique Dan not being willing to keep him in there a bit longer because he's playing some good ball. So it just makes for this, but this was going to happen. You know, I felt like this was going to happen. I felt like someone was going to be having a good day, and either they were going to be mad that they didn't stay in, or Dan was going to have to make a decision whether to keep them in or not. That's best case scenario, honestly. This is why you're doing this, to collect all this data and see if Castillo can get out of the rut that he's in. So it's like, all right, this had to happen. This experiment had to happen. Now what do you do?
Totally disagree to your point about Luis Castillo kind of having a feel for the game, sending him back out there if he's performing. They said if Castillo goes back out to face 1, 2, 3 all over, 900 OPS, he's giving up 3 runs minimum guaranteed. You don't know that. Also, I mean, look, you can't manage and you cannot lead and you cannot construct a team based solely on a spreadsheet. Congratulations. Maybe you deserve a job where you're sitting in a cubicle managing a team and looking at a fantasy football roster. These are real people. And this is the same thing, by the way, that we complain about when they send out platoon bats that aren't working, right? You'd look at it and you go, Luke Raley's hitting 160 against lefties. Why would I send him back out there? Well, what if he's raking? Now you don't feel so confident, do you? Well, oh, God, Rob Refsnyder was hitting 302 last year against lefties. I'm going to send him out there. Well, he's not looking so great, is he? So I just think that this idea of, oh, I've crunched the numbers and this is for sure. You've got to incorporate feel. You've got to incorporate where guys are. And, Bump, I'm going to be honest, you've got to incorporate big picture. This is not a club that's racking up wins where you look at Luis Castillo and you go, hey, buddy, I'm so sorry that you're feeling upset, but you haven't performed this year. This team's in first place. We got to keep building that lead. You haven't been in first place this year.
Yeah.
You've been one game over 500 once, and it was on March 30th. The vibes are not great. You need to take into consideration how players are feeling, like it or not. They're professional athletes, and I know that. But, like, it's kind of a vulnerable place the Mariners are in right now.
And honestly, I don't mind Castillo being angry. You want your guys to want to be out there. You know, you don't – he feels like he's in the mix of a competition right now because he is. And he was playing some good ball at the time. And that just reiterates the human factor in this, is that he could know what the plan is going in. That doesn't mean he likes it. It doesn't mean that he's not allowed to be emotional. I kind of liked it because Castillo's usually just so calm, blank face, and just goes out there and does his thing. So I like that he wanted to go out there and compete. I liked that Bryce Miller said this is uncomfortable because it makes them real. They're real people, and they had these real emotions and comment by Miller. So I'm good with it, man. It's this is where Dan has to come in. This is where he has to be the leader and figure out how to handle this with the help from upstairs, but emotionally talking to these guys and get them in the right spot.
Someone says, what about the Rays? Best team in baseball. I wouldn't argue that's the Rays right now, but I get you. Literally treats players like they're a spreadsheet. I don't think that's true, because we're not talking about how you're building up a team, looking at fitting all the pieces together or using platoons when they're working. I'm talking about one of your pitchers is throwing his glove and throwing things in frustration in the dugout, and another one who's like normally jovial, one of the biggest jokesters, silly dudes on this squad, post game is pausing because he isn't sure what to say.
Yeah.
You weren't a little concerned about that? If you're a leader, Bump, you've been a coach, you've been a coordinator, you've been in charge, and you've been part of a team. What does your gut tell you about what to do there? And it's okay if it's different.
My gut tells me to reassess the situation after every piggyback start.
Sure.
And keep these guys informed and not leave them in the dark. If they feel like, okay, we're going to go through this one more time, let's try it again, then let them know as soon as possible. And you got to deal with whether they like it or not. But if I'm Dan and I'm the guys upstairs, I'm doing what I think is best for the team in this moment. Even if these guys don't agree with it, I'm going to do what I think is best with the team, but the least I can do is inform them and let them know exactly how we're going to attack this. So you can't make decisions based off of how a player feels or even how fans feel, right? You have to make decisions based off of your data, your philosophy, what you think, and not everyone's going to agree with it. It is what it is. You don't make – if I made decisions based off of everyone would agree with it, man, I wouldn't do half of the things that I do because, you know – some things rub people the wrong way, but it's what's best for you. So that's the main thing. Just be clear with these guys. They're going to go out there and perform. It's not like they're 9 and they're going to be on the mound pouting and kicking the dirt and looking at mom in the bleachers talking about how I don't want to be here. No, they're going to go out there and perform.
But I also think that they're real people. And again, I agree with you, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm not agreeing with Bump when it comes to sometimes you have to hurt feelings to win. And if it was up to every starter, he'd never leave the game. You'd never go to the bullpen. If it was up to all of your starters, you'd never use bullpen arms at all, and they'd all pitch complete game shutouts. That's not reality, right? I don't know how many starters when Dan walks to the mound are like, here you go, Skip. Here's the ball. I'm out of here. I've been waiting for you to get here for a minute. Absolutely not. But I also think that it is you think of the team and how you manage in your season, as this like living, breathing organism that's subject to change. And right now, the approach that you have with your club might be slightly different than where it would be if you were winning and if you were in first place and if guys were healthier. Right now, it's weird.
Yeah.
Right now, I would imagine that a couple of your left-handed bats are frustrated they're being pulled when they're performing. Right now, I would imagine that JP isn't quite sure what he's going to do and where his role is and how he can perform. And right now, I would imagine, that Cal and Donovan are not happy they can't be with the club and are, maybe worried about what this means. Like, I would imagine a lot of guys with this team are a little nervous. And maybe not outright. They all have to stubbornly believe they're going to win no matter what, but it's a weird vibe. I cannot be the only person who looks at this club and watches this team and goes, vibes are kind of weird right now.
Yeah,
they're weird.
They just have a lot going on.
They got a lot going on. There's a lot of moving pieces.
You got Cal, you got Donovan.
Exactly.
Colts up. JP was tripping at first. Now he might be cool.
And it's not going to always be that way.
There's the soap opera stuff going on with this team right now. But I also think that there's a possibility that we kind of hype it up a bit because all we get are the 5 seconds of Castillo tripping and the minute and a half of Miller talking after the game. To whereas I know how I work, right? If anything happens, it could be professional in a game. I'm hot for like 2 minutes, and then I'm done. Then I'm like, all right, I'm over it. What's next? So maybe they're operating that way. Maybe they're not. We'll just have to read body language next time we see them.
Before we go, Curtis, you said something during show prep, which was a point about, I think, maybe flying in the face of people who say, well, the entire point is to preserve your bullpen. And you said, well, look, if Castillo, if you would have put him back out and he would have been okay, and your offense, you didn't win just because of your piggyback. Right. You won because your bats and your offense really turned on. You got 9 runs on 12 hits. Then you get a Bryce start today.
Exactly. And Bryce at full strength. Instead, you're going to have to wait 5 days again until you see Bryce Miller, rather than having a good start from Castillo, followed by what could potentially have been a good start by Bryce Miller today. Instead, you use both of those guys up, and now I believe it's Hancock today, who, has not looked like April Hancock lately, but has still been good. But I think Bryce Miller has more than earned his spot in the rotation based off the 3 outings that we've seen him throw already. You then, put him and Luis Castillo on the shelf for the same amount of time rather than having back-to-back good starts out of those guys. I think it's just kind of a waste of what Bryce Miller would be in his most effective spot.
Yeah, we will not talk about this only in the open. I'm sure we have a lot of stuff to say about it. People are sounding off about it. Text line's busy. We aren't done here right now, though. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, reality!
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, ESPN's Brady Henderson says the Seahawks offered Devin Witherspoon a contract extension weeks ago, but both sides are still far apart on an agreement. What's the real headline?
Spoon is telling the Seahawks to fork over a new deal.
Yeah, he probably wants to get paid near what Trent McDuffie's getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
His agent is also the agent of Christian Gonzalez, so there's that situation there. And just because they were far apart doesn't mean like things are hostile. I think that this is how negotiations happen. The Hawks, I don't think, are going to come in initially and say, all right, we're going to make you the highest paid corner in the game. We'll throw a number out there, and you tell us what you want, and we'll go back and forth. The thing that also Brady mentioned in that article he wrote is that, look, Spoon was here. He's here. Voluntary workouts. He is here. He's smiling. It's not like things are tight or weird over here. So that's a good thing. I'm not too stressed about it right now. They're just negotiating.
Do you think that people's expectations of Spoon, or even of JSN for that matter, change once you get paid? Because these two people have had phenomenal seasons. My only thing is, when JSN breaks the market or gets a massive deal, well, he had, 1,700, 1,800 yards. He's been phenomenal. He's so clearly far and away your best receiver. There's a measurable way to see him giving back. With Spoon, it's trickier. Bump, you know this. I don't see Spoon in any way falling off getting paid, but I think that measuring his success looks different because it's not by interceptions anymore.
Yeah, that's the and I understand why people would look at interceptions and say, well, he doesn't have a lot. Why is he getting paid? You know who doesn't have a lot either? Trent McDuffie. He ain't got a lot. He got like 3 to 5 career interceptions. So, no, it's about eliminating a side of the field. It's about creating matchups. It's about moving him around and getting after the quarterback like we saw during the Super Bowl. Spoon affects the game in so many other ways. I would encourage people to not just look at the interceptions, but just his activity.
What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Knicks are back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999 after finishing off a sweep of the Cavs last night. Here is how that final call sounded.
It's over. Believe it, Knick fans, for the first time in 27 years, the New York Knicks are going to the NBA Finals. The dream season continues, and hopes of ending a decades-long championship drought are very much alive.
What's the real headline?
Against all odds, the team from the biggest media market in the country, owned by James Dolan, has become likable?
Yeah, I'll rock with the Knicks.
I'm sorry, but the Knicks are the underdogs against maybe OKC?
You got a super serious Jalen Bronson. You have a comedian in heart. You have just
Cat.
Cat being Cat.
Yeah.
You got OG, who's super athletic.
Timothy Chalamet, Kylie.
Yeah, they're a likable group, man. I mean, you look at the sidelines and all the stars are there, and they haven't been to the finals in 27 years. That is wild. I'm happy for them, and it's easy for us to be happy for the Knicks if they're going up against OKC because no one wants OKC to win.
Yeah.
If the Spurs go, then I just have no dog in the fight. Really, I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. But if OKC goes, I'm Knicks all day.
Hear me out. There's a massive crossover, obviously, between Knicks fans and Yankees fans, but something about Knicks fans feels like underdog-ish or just likable in its brashness. Like Boston fans are brash, but I find Knicks fans to be like, you think of side talk. Like hilarious. Maybe because I know a Knicks fan, but like I find them infinitely more likable. OKC, obviously, if they advance, another tiny market. We don't have to wonder why we don't like them here in Seattle, but I find it interesting that plenty of people outside of Seattle don't like them. Why do you think that is?
One of the Yankees, they're country club. You know, the Knicks are like a public course. They haven't won in so long, it's easy to root for them. With OKC, I think the more people see OKC play, and unfortunately the way that SGA plays the game, the way that they've been hacking Wemby, it's a style of basketball that you just don't enjoy watching. I think SGA is still the best, if not one of the best players in the game. I think they have a good organization. They'll be good for a long time. It's the style. I don't think people like the style of which they play. I can agree with that. Now, here's my question for you and Curtis. If the Spurs advance, well, who's America rooting for now? I think they're still going for the Knicks.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so, too.
Yeah, the Spurs. When's the last time the Spurs won? It's been a while.
2014 was their last championship.
It's more recent.
27 years? Man, yeah. I think the Knicks, big market like you said, are the underdogs, and that's kind of cool.
What's next?
Headline rewrites.
To the other side, the Spurs and OKC tied the Western Conference Finals at 2 games apiece. San Antonio blew out OKC in Game 4. They have a pivotal Game 5 tonight. What's the real headline?
OKC should try literal piggybacking to stop Wemby. You know what I mean? If
Put a couple guys on your shoulders.
Yeah, on Caruso's shoulders in a trench coat.
Is there anything in the rule book that says you can't do that? I don't think so.
Not a single thing. 4 on the court. Wait, where's the other guy? Oh, they just made a single tall man.
You need Castle and Fox. Castle, Fox, and Harper for the Spurs all have to come through, man. I think Wemby has to be great for this team to beat OKC. But this feels like the Seahawks against the Rams. You feel like whoever wins this is probably going to win the championship. But I still wouldn't count New York out, man. They're just gritty right now. They go on Instagram, X, and just type in New York fans. They're going nuts in the streets right now.
Now, again, Western Conference Finals series is tied. Who do either of you have advancing out of this one? You both felt pretty confident about the Spurs. That was before this past weekend.
I said 50-50 before we left for the weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe it was Curtis. Curtis thought that it would be a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
No, if San Antonio had taken the first 2 in Oklahoma City, then I thought so. But OKC took Game 2 and Game 3. I hope it goes the full 7. That would be pretty fun.
Yes.
But I'm rooting so hard for San Antonio.
For obvious reasons.
Need the Spurs.
I want San Antonio. I just don't like. I hope that SGA doesn't turn into like a James Harden for me. Like, I appreciate who James Harden is as a basketball player, but that double step back he used to do or still does, which is travel to me, change the game. His style of play just isn't attractive to me.
I see what you mean.
I don't like watching it. I know it's good, it's effective, but I just don't like watching it. That's how SGA is getting for me.
Well, and the spotlight is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, where if SGA, OKC end up advancing, every single game is going to have moments where we just are replaying whether or not it was a flop. Like, no matter, it's going to be flop watch is what it's going to be for it already is, but it's going to be especially pronounced because, again, OKC, I think, are going to be the villain in this one.
Yeah.
So
embrace it, OKC.
Bummer, I guess. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Bump and I live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center, but we're sticking with the Mariners coming up next. What's your first fix with this team?
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They caught it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place. With People Come First.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate your car today.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Ladies and gentlemen, step right up and test your luck for a chance to win up to $10,000 in cash. That's right, folks. Every Saturday in May from 7 p.m. till midnight, there'll be two winners every hour. Pick the lucky rubber ducky and walk away with 10 grand. It's Duck Duck Win. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
With Popeye's new $6 faves menu, you can get this 3-piece chicken, this 3-piece tenders, this chicken sandwich, or these 2 regular sides for just $6 a piece. I know you can't see what I see, but trust me, those bold Louisiana flavors look so good, you might just have to get them all. Now there's an idea.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Price may vary. Terms apply.
Mariners and A's tonight in Sacramento. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Michael is in his 70s, and he was dealing with an injury.
I had tears in my rotator cuff.
just the discomfort of going about everyday life. Day-to-day things were not comfortable or almost impossible, but just being inactive was troubling.
He was in a great deal of pain.
I started trying to learn how to brush my teeth with my left hand, and you can't do it. It was ridiculous.
Searching for answers, Michael found Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, where he underwent stem cell therapy.
You know, I play basketball Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and so I'm getting my shot back. It's not back to where it was, but hey, before I couldn't even do anything. So 100% improvement of what it was.
Wow, that's great to hear. Would you recommend stem cell therapy to others?
I can share without a doubt that it helped me, and I'm grateful for that.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bump and Stacy
weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center, set to talk with a player later today. That'll be on tomorrow's show. Brady Henderson is joining us at 11, talking Seahawks in 15 minutes. We have a lot of Seahawks to get to, obviously, and we're in the setting for it. But we are going to stick with the Mariners for just a little bit longer. A question for you, Bump, for me, and for all of our listeners. What's your first fix, your top priority to fix with this Mariners team? Now, the bad news is you got a lot of things to choose from. So what would your first fix that comes to mind where you were like, look, I'm Skip for the day, and I get to try something out? What are you going to do?
I'm going to a 6-man rotation right now.
Ooh,
I'm doing it.
I didn't think
Like,
that's
why
a
not?
spicy answer.
I've seen Castillo do his thing. Miller's done his thing. The piggyback thing has worked. But I think that for the sake of the morale of this team and for that pitching staff, let's go a week or two with a 6-man rotation and see how that works out.
Now, you were I'm sorry to interrupt. You initially were more open to putting Castillo in the pen. Is it his last outing that has kind of intrigued you enough to see?
Yep, that's why I like the piggyback, because you get to look at both
Sure.
of these guys. Right, granted, mentally, they might not like it. They want to be those guys. And I would expect them to want to be those guys. You want them to want to pitch a full game or go through 6 or 7 innings. But no, I'm all right, 6-man rotation. Let's get it. Let's see what happens now. Because Castillo, you've instilled some confidence in me again. Let's see how that works.
So that is, I think, the best answer for right now. Not everyone is going to answer with 6-man rotation. Some people's answer would, hey, right now I'm putting Castillo in the pen. But I think, what do you do with Castillo? These two starters are clearly unhappy with piggybacking, even if you got a win yesterday, is your number one priority with, like, you can't every 5th day have guys being clearly unhappy on camera.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not going to work for you. So if I'm going away from that, because I do think that's the most pressing, I got to figure out third base. Am I using Emerson there all year long? Then he needs to know that's what his role is. Am I using JP there? Then I need to get him more work. I can't have this many moving pieces at once. If it's going to be Donovan, then I need to communicate with Donovan. The second you're back here, third base is yours.
Right.
It cannot be this up in the air. That's, I think, my answer. It's like, figure out what you want to do at third, what you feel most comfortable with, and only change it if it backfires spectacularly.
I like that. With injury, it gives opportunity. So we're seeing Emerson have an opportunity to kind of solidify himself and take that spot. What's your conversations like with JP at this point too? All right. He offered to make a move to third base to make room for Colt. Either way, even if Emerson were to stay there or you move JP there, there's still a conversation that needs to be had with Donovan. Like, okay, what's the plan with Donovan? I think that's the biggest thing with this team right now is just coming up with a plan and clearly communicating that so everyone knows the expectations.
Totally agree.
The worst thing for an athlete, especially an athlete who is a starter, right, a guy you lean on, those guys have different conversations than the 2 or the 3, the backups. 2 or the 3s, the Rivases, even like a Cole Young at this point, even though he's been playing some good ball, you just show up and whatever they ask you to do, you do it. But guys who are main contributors who have been here for a while deserve to at least know what the plan is going to be moving forward.
I think this is why lineup is not my answer here. But earlier in the season, you know how we kept getting questions about the lineup like every single day. Why is Cal still at 2? Why haven't they shuffled this around? Why hasn't Cole Young been moved up? I think part of it is, to your point, players love routine. And they love routine wherever you can get it because, Bump, you know this. There's so much going on, like the mental and physical toll of trying to perfect your craft as an athlete is so intense that the last thing I want to think about is where I'm going to play, what my job is going to be, where I come into play. So if I'm JP and I'm worried about aging and my defense and this guy over my shoulder, if I'm told, hey, you're a shortstop, we don't like your profile at third, we like Emerson there, like for this year you have to be our shortstop, you need to do your absolute best, we can't afford to move you from it, then I know my job. And it doesn't mean I'm suddenly going to become great at it, but like I am sure that we can both empathize with being told this is where you're going to be. So when Cal was at second, I'm sure Cal didn't love not seeing more pitches, but you know where you're going to be every day.
Yeah. It allows you to mentally just get into a good place.
Yeah.
I told this story last week. Man, I was getting like 6 reps with the ones with the Hawks. And I'm like, all right, if this is what it's going to be, I have to find a way not to accept it, but just to deal with it and take advantage of every opportunity I get, because I know these are going to be my 6 plays and 5 of them are going to be runs. Make sure I get to the right spot and do my thing. So, yeah, it just it allows you to wake up in the morning and approach the day with more of a positive kind of outlook. Even if you don't like the role that you're being played in, at least you know what the day is going to be like.
I have a couple listener ones from the 425. Their fix, Donovan to right, Rayleigh and Kinzone are your DH. So Donovan to right field. Now, I'm assuming JP becomes their third. I don't know. If you want to follow up with who becomes your third baseman, moving Donovan, let me know. I'm just assuming you want JP and then Colt is short, but maybe I'm speaking for you there. But their solution would be moving Donovan off of third base, putting him in right. So that's one. Curtis, what would yours be? Your fix right now for the Mariners, if you were to make a fix, your first fix.
Boy, God, there's a lot that needs fixing.
It's kind of like when you're in an ice cream shop, but all the flavors are bad.
Right, and they're
Like
weighing by pound. Yeah,
so many options here.
I think my biggest fix would be just figuring out your lineup against left-handed pitching, because it has been really bad this year for the Mariners. And I think that also is due in large part to Cal's drop-off against left-handed pitching. Now, he's not in the lineup. We don't know when he's going to be back in the lineup, but last year he was mashing left-handed pitching, which I think helped or at least masked some of the struggles against lefties. But the one guy you brought over who was supposed to be your lefty masher, Rob Refsnyder, has been the opposite of that. He has been just an absolute zero in this lineup every time he's in there. And we joked about it, what was it, on Friday, when they put him at cleanup in the game against Kansas City. And sure enough, he goes over 3 strikeouts. Like, we could all see that coming. You've got to figure out something against lefties. Now, Victor Robles is back. Don't know exactly how predictable his bat can be. I know he had that really good stretch a couple of years ago to finish off the season, but again, small sample size. That is not who he has been throughout the course of his career. He's had a lot of injuries to deal with. How does this lineup get better against left-handed pitching? I think you've got to really, consider all options with Rob Refsnyder right now, because I don't think the Mariners can continue to run him out there if they know the outcome and what it's going to be.
Bump, what do you think?
No, I like it. I think what you said about third base is on point. What Curtis said about lefties, figuring out what to do with this rotation. And then, by the way, just wait for Cal to get healthy and come back and hopefully spark this team. So there's work to be done. And Dan and the guys, whatever it is, just come up with a plan and let's stick to it for a couple weeks and see how it works out.
I'll say this as one last follow-up. Is there a fix you need to see that would involve adding something that isn't here? And I don't mean Cal getting back healthier. I mean like a trade. Or do you feel like they have enough pieces, including guys on the IL, to still be really competitive?
I feel like if they were hitting lefties better, then I feel like they have enough. But because they haven't been hitting lefties the way we hoping they would, that would be my main concern. Something that could be added, I guess.
See, now we're getting into an interesting conversation that will certainly carry us through July, which is, what if one of the fixes you want to see is adding a right-handed bat? Like, what if one of the fixes you want to see is, okay, it's not Refsnyder. Refsnyder isn't working. Do I need, though, to look at the market? Do I need to look at a team? And if that's the case, what does it mean if everyone in the American League is still a competitor? And am I now looking at National League teams? What's happening here? 2 of the worst teams that probably aren't going to be in it are in my division. Will they trade with me? Lots of interesting questions here. All right, so those are our first fixes for this Mariners team. And you know what? Despite all of this, our conversation about piggybacking and weird vibes and unhappy pitchers and fixes that we want to see, there's a world where the Mariners get this sweep, are back in Seattle, and on Friday when they're opening their next series are in first place. And that's very weird. Very, very weird, but possible. So again, game 2 today at 6:40 p.m., 5:30 p.m. pregame show. Mariners remain 1.5 games back. Can make that up over the rest of this series. We are getting to the Seahawks. Brady Henderson joining us at 11 live here at Virginia Mason Athletic Center. Before we get to that, the Seahawks have had a quiet offseason, but one NFL voice explains why there's a big benefit to that.
Rock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
Oh, man, the ups and downs of any baseball season are obviously incredible, but this one feels like it's got a lot of ups and downs.
Beyond the expectations, why does this feel so volatile? Is there's kind of like real life stuff off the field, the real life injury stuff.
I think it's being close. I think it's feeling like that goal is right in front of you. You got to the ALCS last year. You are so close.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
A shot to center field. Julio is there, and Julio makes the catch!
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house, even when there's not an actual seat, because you're in the T-Mobile pen.
They're going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
The pen isn't just the perfect space to hang with your whole crew. It's where you can see Julio defend the no-fly zone 1 minute and watch Senor Smoke get ready for his big entrance the next.
Andres Munoz has simply been incredible.
Sure, the pen is standing room only, but with a team this exciting, who wants to be sitting down? Mariners baseball. Try this up.
90s weekend is on deck at T-Mobile Park. The fun gets started this Friday with an epic 90s themed fireworks night presented by T-Mobile. Then it's back-to-back giveaways. Julio Rodriguez sleeveless jersey Saturday and Ken Griffey Jr. pin Sunday, both presented by Key Bank. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us?
Touchdown! Seahawks!
This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
Ooh, that face. Quantum Fiber Internet loves that face.
That's Jamila.
Gage Jamila.
She's thinking outside the box from inside the box.
Quantum Fiber Wi-Fi keeps her meeting game strong. From the back door to the front lawn.
Rushing all of the video calls. Back to back to back video calls.
Quantum Fiber Internet blowing the soxies up all those people in all those boxes. Yay to you.
Switch today at quantumfiber.com. Additional pods may be needed to achieve Wi-Fi coverage in some locations. Limited availability. Service in select locations only.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, start treatment at Revive Washington and get a free comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, and more. Take control of your health today. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Mariners and A's tonight in Sacramento. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Save $2 when you buy 2 cans of Superior Products Coverall tire dressing. Plus, get 4 times O-Rewards points now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Wendy's new Biggie Deals lets you choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's like a music mixing board of deals, and you're the producer. Go with some chill folk music with a JBC in the $4 Biggie Bite snack. Try the drum and bass of deals with a double stack and a $6 Biggie bag. Or go full-on sandwich symphony with an $8 Biggie bundle, the grand finale of snacking. And the best part? They all come with napkins. $4, $6, and $8 Biggie Deals how you want them at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Brady Henderson hopping on in less than 15 minutes. Right now, let's talk about the Seahawks' quiet offseason and whether or not that's a bad thing at all. I'm guessing, Bump, that most fans would say, no, it's so much better than having drama. But there's a fun little twist here provided by the Athletic Football Show's Robert Mays. We're going to go to cut 7. This is from the Athletic Football Show. Robert Mays is saying everything's setting up nicely for the Seahawks to still add a big piece.
Another team we've talked about that kind of leaves some powder dry when it comes to the way that they spend their resources and have a similar mindset where, like, we're not going to overpay for these guys, that's the Chargers. The difference between the Chargers and the Seahawks is at the trade deadline or next spring, if there's like a huge swing to be made, this team will do it.
Yeah, they're willing to do it. They straddle a weird world where they're like kind of Philly and kind of the Chargers at the same time. They live in a weird world.
They're willing to do it. And so them having like a little bit of money to throw around and having flexibility, I think of it a little bit differently with them than I do with another team. Like, I bet they'd trade for Max Crosby if they could. Like,
the Chargers would never think about that.
They would never do that.
Yeah.
And so, like, and that's why for me, it's like, even if they weren't hyper aggressive, I think giving yourself the avenue to be hyper aggressive for players who are worth it, rather than doing it in free agency for a pool of players who probably aren't worth it. I understand that.
I thought that was very interesting because it's Robert Mays saying, he's speaking to a national audience, and he's saying, look, I know that as a national audience, when people aren't Seahawks fans, so they're not always paying attention, the Seahawks can kind of fade to the background. They're nestled away in the Pacific Northwest. They aren't having big splashy moves. They aren't making the biggest signings in free agency. And even though they just won a Super Bowl, they aren't having players in headlines marrying celebrities or pop stars or getting arrested or anything like that. They've been kind of quiet. But don't mistake them for being a team that doesn't make noise when it wants to, because they have also been on one side of some of the biggest trades we've seen. And that goes all the way back to whether it's Percy Harvin, Jimmy Graham. I'm not saying those worked out, but they take swings. They can be aggressive. Trading Russell Wilson, that was massive, right? Moving on from coaches. The Seahawks aren't afraid to make splashy moves. They just pick and choose their spots. Could we still see one coming?
Oh, it's tough. It's a tough one because you look at the positions on this team, and there's no one position to where I think they need to get somebody there. Maybe an interior linebacker to help Drake Thomas out. I've said it last week. I'm interested to see how teams attack him now, knowing that he's going to be one of those guys there. But they're moving like these volcanoes up here, man. They sleeping, but don't get it twisted. You know, at any moment it could blow.
They could kill a lot of people.
They could do something. I ain't talking about killing people,
but they could kill a lot of people.
They could make a move, and I think that their offseason reflects what they've built. They've built something that is sustainable. I feel like, at least, right? We're gonna learn more this season coming up, but I feel like they've built something that is sustainable and doesn't need a whole lot of fixing. Right, you just bought a home and you knocked down a wall or two, but that's about it, right? It already has good bones and good structure and all that good stuff. That's how I feel about this team right now. But I also know that they're more than capable of making one of those big moves. What move is it? I don't know. It's not going to be A.J. Brown, you know, right? We think he's going to the Patriots.
Nor do I want it to be.
Is it going to be, it's going to be Bosa. I don't know. You know, would they trade for Max Crosby? I don't know if they would trade for Max Crosby, but you just don't know because – everything feels solid over here, and you're not desperate for anything. You signed your quarterback a couple years ago, got him locked in.
Yeah.
You signed the Offensive Player of the Year. You're already negotiating with Spoon to get that all figured out. You've drafted probably a replacement for Kobe Bryant. You probably drafted a replacement for Reek Woolen. So it's like the moves they have made were addressed in the most financially stable ways. Go to the draft. Let's pick up a couple guys there and develop them and see if we can do it that way, because that's what they do. The Drake Thomases, the Ty Okadas, the Kobe Bryant before he left. They're about draft and develop and then sprinkle in a free agent. Oh, and I forgot. You signed Rashid Shaheed and made sure he came back as well. It's like they've done everything. They've gotten ahead of everything. Yes. So because it doesn't feel frantic over here, it might seem like they've had a quiet offseason.
That part. However, speaking of Rashid Shaheed, a splashy mid-season trade, they have made some moves there, sometimes fairly aggressive ones, sometimes quiet ones that end up being the best at the deadline. Now, when I hear splashy move, even though you're right, you look at like, oh, interior linebacker, they could use help. But those aren't splashy moves. Splashy moves are splashy positions. It means quarterback. It means wide receiver. It means corner, or it means edge. How are you feeling about edge right now with Seattle? Because I have some follow-ups.
Dante Fowler, I think, is going to be solid.
Okay.
I think Uchenna Nwosu is going to have himself another good season. One of the few people who haven't been here for OTA so far this year is D-Law, because his wifey just had a baby.
Congratulations.
I feel good about that. You still got Derek Hall as well over there. Mike Morris is a guy that they want to try to develop. I feel okay about it. If they go and grab somebody else, I'm solid. I'm solid with that too. But like I said, there's no position I look at and feel like there's a need there. You can always get better. That's the name of the game, get better. But I don't look at a position and say, what are we going to do at that spot?
No, nor do I right now, which is a great spot for this team to be in. But I do look at edge as a position as being something that is a splashy move. And when people have talked about guys that could be traded, now I'm not saying they will, and I don't think they will, but they're talking about those guys. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. They're looking at that as a position that's like, well, what if this guy gets moved? Because they're just working on a different timeline than an unhappy quarterback or something like that, right? Like you're looking at the Raiders and you're going, they're not going to compete, but Max Crosby's going to be at his best. You know, if he's not already going downhill, then it's this year.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. Same with the Browns. They're not going anywhere. Now, Myles Garrett took the bag to stay there, so maybe you're just going to be there, and that's what it is. And who knows if the Seahawks want to pay that. But the Seahawks have a lot of draft capital to work with in 2027. I might be on Robert's side here. I can see a world where they make a very, very splashy move, maybe especially at edge sometime during the season. We'll ask Brady. He's set to join us in just a second. Bump, did you know that this is what Google's telling me? The axial seamount is an underwater volcano 300 miles off the Oregon coast, and it is the volcano most likely to erupt in 2026.
Yeah. Also,
you knew that?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Because I look at weird stuff like that. I just look at weird stuff like that.
Not expecting you to say yes. What? Is your hobby just like volcano? Yeah, no, I think about volcanoes a lot.
No, I mean my algorithm. I get volcanoes, natural disasters,
what?
history. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
You actually knew that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell us? So you're just letting Curtis Cash and I sit here unaware that we're 300 miles away from a volcano.
I would tell Curtis and Cash, you'd panic.
No, I wouldn't.
I just want you
Yes,
Am I panicked right now? No, I would not.
You're
Am I panicked
right
right
now? It's all you're going to be thinking about the rest of the show.
No, it's not.
Your heart rate's probably up to about 130 right
No,
now.
it's not. I mean, I am
her resting
sweaty.
heart rate's like 110.
I'm sweaty right now. I didn't know it was that close. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know it was that close. I hope we'll be okay. I already Googled what happens if Mount Rainier erupts mid-segment. So,
you know that there are more volcanoes in the ocean than on land.
Why do you know so much about volcanoes? What is this? This is like a whole thing I didn't know about you. I thought we were friends. ESPN's Brady Henderson joins us next.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate your car today.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
I'm Stacey Rost, and here with my friend Mark Clymer, GM of Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn. Mark, I know for me, when I go to a dealership, I just don't want to feel pushed into buying something.
Hey, I'm just like you, Stacey. I don't want to feel pressured when I'm trying to buy something either. So we understand that, and so do all of our employees. The bottom line is we'll give you the information that you want. We'll take care of you from beginning to end, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, we understand. We only want to sell you a car if you want to buy one.
I think the thing that I want most is to be able to trust the person I'm working with. It's a huge investment, and I got to be honest, I don't know a ton about cars.
Second largest thing most people ever buy next to a home. So you're right. You want to make sure you're buying from a reputable place. You want a warranty, and you want to make sure you're covered for any reason you change your mind. And we offer that 5 days or 500-mile, 100% money back guarantee.
And congratulations on 104 years in Auburn. That's a big deal. Check out the 104th anniversary sale going on now with great prices. That's Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn, wayscarford.com.
For those diagnosed with anxiety, depression, or PTSD, Northwest Ketamine Clinics wants you to know there is hope. After only 3 weeks of treatment, 86% of patients report a reduction in symptoms. Northwest Ketamine Clinics was the first ketamine clinic in the Northwest, opened 9 years ago. They now have locations in Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue, with more than 50,000 treatments given. Find reviews and video testimonials from real patients on their website, including Brandon.
To anyone thinking about giving it a try, if you have depression, ADHD, bipolar, any of those things feel like they would vastly benefit from it.
Everyone's path to healing is different. Schedule a free consultation today to find out if ketamine therapy is right for you. They have immediate availability, so you can get started this week. Welcome to the Pacific Northwest's most experienced ketamine center. Book a free phone or video consult at nwketamineclinics.com. Healing starts here.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners offense unloaded yesterday in their series opener against the A's. It was a 9-2 win that included home runs from Luke Raley, Dom Canzone, J.P. Crawford, and Randy Arozarena, 4 of 12 hits. Game 2 today at 6:40 p.m. Pregame show at 5:30 p.m. on Seattle Sports. Mariners remain 1.5 games back and can make that up over the rest of this series.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. We are live at Virginia Mason Athletic Center, joined now in person in studio by ESPN's Brady Henderson. Brady, we've got, a couple days of practice here? Well, extended OTAs, not just this week. But what are we watching for here?
So they got the first OTA today, and then I think there's 2 next week. And then I believe that's all we get to see until minicamp. We get to see I think the first thing is who's here and who's not. I have been, like I said, they haven't had an open OTA yet. So this is the first time we've got to see them in person, but they've posted a ton of photo galleries from basically every workout that they've had. And similar to last year, it looks like attendance has been really good. There's only been, I think, a couple players that I have not seen. And one is Zach Charbonnet, who is obviously recovering from his knee injury, and you wouldn't expect him here. So attendance appears to be pretty good so far. And like, if I'm sure you guys heard the same thing that I did from players and coaches last year, that they felt like that was a kind of important springboard for what they did during the regular season, was the fact that so many people were here during the offseason. It looks like something similar is happening. So who's here, who's not here, who, sort of passes the eye test and maybe doesn't, in terms of who, kept themselves or got themselves in really good shape over the offseason. You really can't put a whole lot of stock, as I've learned, into like players that stand out from what they do on the field this time of the year. Because, as I'm sure Bump would tell you, this is a setting that is really set up for like skill players, pass catchers especially, to stand out, because it's non-contact, which means defensive backs aren't making plays on the ball. So, receivers should basically catch everything. And, I've gotten sort of fooled into, some like kind of bottom end of the roster wide receivers that really look good in, May and June. And it's really because the setting is sort of set up for them to look good.
Yeah, honestly, I'm doing a 4-down territory after this. And that's one of the things I'm going to hit on. It's like expectations, right? When we're looking at this thing, how do we view it? And the hardest thing to do for me is is the DBs, like you said, right? They can't make plays on the ball, but you can tell if they're in position or not. And if you go off the reaction of every DB, he's always in position to make a play. They're going to be so
every play would be an interception.
Well, and they do, they do the the movements and
exactly
the finger wagging, the incomplete sign.
So speaking of DBs, you wrote that Spoon and the Hawks aren't on the same page, but it doesn't seem like you're alarmed about it so far when it comes to their contract. How do you think this approach is? I told Stacey that I'm assuming that obviously Spoon wants to be as close to Trent McDuffie as he possibly can when it comes to the money, but I'm not too worried about it. Things are going to get worked out. Just kind of walk me through how you're feeling about that.
Yeah. So just to be clear, I think somebody kind of misquoted me and said that I said that they are, quote, far apart in negotiations, which is not what I wrote. I wrote that it doesn't appear that they're on the verge of an extension, which might kind of sound like the same thing, but when you say they're not far apart, that sort of implies that there's been a ton of negotiation and they're like in disagreement on the number. I don't even know if there's been a whole lot of back and forth negotiation. I just know that the Seahawks initiated the conversation several weeks ago, and it doesn't seem like there's been a ton of movement since then. Now, as we know, whenever there's motivation from both sides, and once the ball is already rolling like this, it could get done quickly, but I just don't know if there has been that motivation from both sides. If you're Witherspoon and you're looking at Trent McDuffie, who just became the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, Witherspoon's a better player than Trent McDuffie. I have no question about that. I doubt that he has any question or his agent has any question about that. I don't think the Seahawks have any question about that. So I think ultimately this deal gets done and he's going to be the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. And I don't say this part with any level of rock solid intel, but my just hunch is that it gets done probably on a similar timeline as to a lot of these Seahawks extensions that we see get done kind of early in training camp. And I say that more so from the standpoint of, I think what ultimately this comes down to, and remember, Devin Witherspoon has 2 years left on his contract. And I think what ultimately this comes down to is if you're the player and the agent, your option one is to make whatever he's supposed to make the season, $5.5 million, whatever it is. Option two is you can make $25-30 million in cash this year. I think ultimately that's what it's going to come down to. And I think this deal gets done and he gets, he's the highest paid cornerback in the NFL.
Let's talk big picture with this team for this next one. Bump and I have been spending a lot of the offseason talking about Seattle versus the Rams. And for obvious reasons. I mean, both are favorites to get to and win the Super Bowl. The Rams are typically favored over Seattle, so it just provides an easy debate for us to get into. But Brady, I think that there's a good portion of a national audience that goes, congratulations to Seattle for what they did last year. I find it so hard to believe that JSN can get that many yards and Sam Darnold cannot throw an interception in the postseason and the defense can be number one in DVOA, basically wire to wire, that so many individual things feel hard to repeat. However, is there a world where Seattle can still be the best team in football without doing exactly that same thing?
I've got to apologize. I was thinking about
volcanoes.
The fact that it's so hot.
Say
it's so hot in here, and I was like, "How can I politely open this?"
Oh
door?
my God! It's like I have two bumps right now. It's Michael Bumpus.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna. Can you give me the Cliff's Notes version of that question again?
Brady,
I could not concentrate.
How can the Seahawks get back to the Super Bowl without the defense being absolutely number one and JSN being the most prolific receiver in football? How can they kind of repeat it without depending on those two things?
I don't know. I mean, it's
cool.
it's hard. I don't know that they can't. I don't know that they could do it without those two things. I mean, I say that just from the standpoint of it's hard to get back to the Super Bowl, or it's hard to win it when you've already been there. I think they should have as good a chance as anybody because of the coaching staff that they have and because of the talent that they have on their roster. But I don't know. I mean, if you were to write the script of it happening again, you would probably write it something similar to that, I think as far as it relates to them and the Rams, look, there's a danger in just assuming that teams sort of pick up where they left off. But I think it's safe to say that those were clearly the two best teams in the NFL last season. That started to really become clear probably around the time of that week 15 or 16 Thursday night game, whatever it was. And look, the Seahawks took some hits in free agency. There's no doubt about that. They also lost their coordinator, and they're going to be relying on a guy who's never called plays before. So that is something that they are going to have to overcome. But I still think that, to me, these two teams look like they're the two best teams in the NFL, especially when you consider what the Rams did in free agency and loading up on cornerbacks. They got Trent McDuffie, the aforementioned Trent McDuffie, also signed Jalen Watson from the Chiefs. So, they got better. Now, that's why I really don't think the Seahawks were at all disappointed to see them spend the 13th pick on Ty Simpson, a guy who's not going to help them this time or anytime soon, barring an injury situation. So I still think these are the two best teams in the NFL. And, if you were to ask me if the Seahawks were to get back to the Super Bowl, I would probably tell you it's
the same formula.
Would be kind of the same formula, yeah.
Are there any coaches that have gotten promoted that's going to play a bigger role on this team this year that you know about?
Any coaches that have gotten promoted? Well, I will give you one that comes to mind is the new running backs coach, Thomas Hammock. That was an interesting move on his part to go from a head coach in college to a position coach in the NFL. Now, I believe he has some elevated title, assistant head coach or something like that. But I'm not convinced that it is a coincidence, Bump, that the running game started to take off last season after they made a change at position coach. Remember, it was Kennedy Polamalu was the running backs coach. They announced it as a leave of absence. I really don't think that's what it was. I think they moved on from him, frankly. And then Justin Outen took over, and shortly thereafter, the running game started to take off. Now, that's not to say that the coach was the only thing holding them back, but I do wonder if that played a part in it. And, Thomas Hammock is someone that McDonald obviously has a relationship with going back to their Baltimore days. So that's the first one that comes to mind is maybe that's maybe he's a better fit for what they want to do.
What's up with Torrey Horton? I feel like we keep hearing about that shin injury kind of being prolonged, and now I'm not sure exactly what his role looks like, that you've got Rashid for special teams. What's his role look like on this team this year to you? And are we still waiting for that injury timeline, or is he good?
I don't know exactly where it stands. I know that McDonald and I think Schneider have said that he wasn't going to do much in the spring.
Okay.
And that it sounds like, they were expecting him to be ready by training camp. Now, there was I think the Seahawks in one of those galleries, I think they had a picture of him catching a pass. And I think a lot of people kind of maybe got a little ahead of themselves. It didn't show him practicing. It just showed him he could have just been catching a ball off to the side. So I don't know. So I'm interested to see what he does. But I just think that whatever he can give you is a really nice bonus. Look, the injury history is such with him that, remember, it wasn't just the shin injury last year that ultimately put him on the shelf. It was the ankle injury that caused him to miss, a good chunk of training camp after he had really probably won the number 3 receiver job. And then there was the college leg injury that, cut his final season short at Colorado State. So there's enough of an injury history, I think, to say, yeah, it's hard to really count on a whole lot from him. Hard to count on him staying healthy. But if he gives you 14 games and that is your number 4 receiver, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone that returned that you were surprised to see, or did the offseason kind of pan out the way that you thought it was going to pan out?
Anybody that returned to the team? I was not super surprised by anything that happened in free agency. I think the writing had kind of seemed to be on the wall. It was obvious with Rick Wallen and Boye Mafe. They were not going to re-sign those guys. And then with Kobe Bryant and Rashid Shaheed, it kind of felt 50-50 to me, and much less than 50-50 with Ken Walker III. Mm-hmm. So, no, I didn't think that they would go as high as they did for Rashid Shaheed at, what was it, $18 million, whatever it was. I thought that they would kind of want to be more in the Cooper Kupp $15 million per year range. But when they lost, when they let several other players walk and maybe they got some better deals to re-sign some of the guys that they did re-sign, maybe they looked at it and said, okay, there's a little more money left, to play with here. So, but in terms of, nobody was really a surprise in terms of coming or going.
Robert Mays wondered whether or not the Seahawks would be willing to take a swing at the deadline. He just said, look, they got a lot of picks next year. They can be kind of a bold team, so maybe it happens. But I asked Bump, and Bump fairly says it's a pretty complete team right now. Like there's not a massive hole area of need kind of thing. But if you were to look at a few areas, offense or defense, and go, look, if they did add late in training camp or barring injury, obviously they would, but like if there was an area that could make sense, where do you look?
Gosh, maybe like a stud pass rusher. I mean, this was the same last year, and obviously it worked out very well for them. They have a lot of sort of good, maybe not like all-pro elite guys, but I think the strength of that pass rush has been just the collective talent and the fact that last year they could throw 4 edge rushers at you that could really impact the game. And I don't necessarily see a huge drop-off from Boye Mafe to Dante Fowler Jr., but maybe if they feel like there is, and I don't want to say this to get ahead of anything or to like raise people's hopes, but if Max Crosby, a guy that they tried to trade
too
for,
late, Brady.
Yeah,
because now I'm wondering if they're going to trade for Max
again.
Crosby.
I don't think it's likely, but just say there's a guy like that comes available, and they feel like he would really take their defense to the next level. Maybe that's what it is. But I would agree with you. Like I don't see a glaring need. Once they replace Boye Mafe with Fowler, I don't really see a glaring need on this roster. But again, we're talking on May 26th.
Sure.
What does that look like on October 30th?
He is Brady Henderson. Make sure you're reading the latest and, of course, watching for updates from OTAs, maybe anything else on Witherspoon or some press conferences later today. Anything else you're working on to be posted to ESPN, OTA observations, any columns?
Nothing that's planned. No, I'm just here to
just vibes, just chilling.
Yeah, just here to watch and ask questions and
talking volcanoes with Bump.
Yeah, my goodness, the opening the door really did help quite a bit.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you feel a little bit better. Thank you, Brady, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Poor Brady.
It was hot.
When he was just staring at me, I knew in that second, it was like I lost him.
A blank stare.
I know.
Yeah, I get
I've
that
given you
stare
that.
from you every now and then.
It's like I already know I've given you that before, where I just go, yeah. First down. Do you agree with Jason Kelsey when it comes to the NFL schedule?
So he's really tripping. Him and his brother, obviously, they do a podcast.
Just like he's tripping.
He's really tripping. He's like, I mean, you're entitled to an opinion. He doesn't like that the NFL is getting away from games just on Sunday and Monday. Obviously, we have a Wednesday game this year, a Thursday games we put on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The only day not being touched this year in the NFL is a Tuesday. And I guess for tradition, I can get it. You want to know that on Sunday you're going to sit down, you're going to watch the ball game. On Monday night you come home from work, you got a game there. But me personally, it just makes the week go by that much faster. I got a game on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm all for it, man. I think that's that it's going to shift towards this because now you're able to really highlight some certain teams, right, in certain games. So I get the traditionalist, right, the guy who's used to things being a certain way, understood. But look, games are being played on Netflix now. I remember when Netflix used to have to go to a kiosk and get an actual CD and put it in my Xbox to watch Netflix. Yeah, DVD.
No, you're thinking of Red.
No. Oh no, Netflix used to send them to you.
Yes.
They used to send them to
What
you.
was the one
Redbox.
where you Redbox?
Redbox, yeah. I'm like, so things changed, man. I get him wanting consistency, but me personally, if I could see one NFL game every single week, I'd watch it.
God, there are people too young. Cash, who's on the board right now, is way too young for this. Cash, do you remember Redbox?
I do, yeah. We used to, when we'd go to like a cabin or, I mean, it'd have to be somewhere remote, like away from modern technology.
Then you'd take,
but we
exactly.
Get it. Yeah, I don't think they're even around anymore, though.
I don't think they are, but I have memories of being like in college and we're like at a gas station. It's shady and weird at night. Hurry up, make a choice.
Yeah, 7-Eleven or Walgreens.
Yeah.
Those were like the two places.
That's where it was. All right, second down. Bump, who do you want to get eyes on during OTAs and minicamp?
I really want to see Julian Neal. And I want to see him because of the size that what is it, like 6'1", 6'2", 205 pounds. I just want to feel his presence out there because there are some corners where you just feel them. Like every now and then I'll run into Sherm. And I'll look at him and be like, dog, you are bigger than what people actually realize. He's just long. Like you feel him. Then there's some corners you go out there and you don't feel anything. You know, they're just obviously they're there, but their presence just isn't like a Sherm. So I'm looking at Neal and I want to see if I can feel that presence. And the best part of his game I'm not going to be able to watch, which is his aggressiveness. He likes to hit, get downhill. But Julian Neal is a guy that I feel like can compete for some time. They brought him here because Reek is out of there. So the presence, because like B just said, we're not going to be able to see him make plays on the football, right? You're going to see him in drills. Teams are 7-on-7s or whatnot. So just being in the right position and his presence, those long arms, that big body, I want to see it.
Third down. What rookie do you think will look best early, but you'll need to pump the brakes on?
So this is what I was talking about when B was here. It's like every run Jadarian makes is going to look like a 25, 30-yard run. Every run. Why?
That's
because
true.
they're not going to be able to touch him. He's going to be bobbing and weaving through the line.
We're going to be like, he's Barry Sanders.
It's gonna be like, this might be the greatest rookie we've ever seen. So I have to remind myself just to pump the brakes on that. I can't evaluate him when it comes to some vision and his breakaway speed or whatnot. But you know how these things go, man. Everyone, especially on the skill levels, the running backs, DBs, safeties, linebackers, and whatnot, everyone looks good when you have on these shirts and T-shirts. And Price, I hope I see a burst. I hope I see some wiggle. I hope I see that breakaway speed. But I also need to realize, too, that everybody's going to look good. And also, I want to see how Sam Darnold gets this team in and out of the huddle and if there's a flow to it. Because, you know, you're learning a new offense, and there are times where it's going to happen regardless. There are times when you get to the line of scrimmage, you got some questions for the OC. What are we going to do here? When we see this look? When we see that look? Towards the end of the year last year, it was just flowing with Sam. So I want to see just, you know, how many steps back does he have to take before he can take those necessary steps forward and lead this team again. So is Jadarian looking like the best running back in the world. Calm myself down. And then it's seeing how smoothly Sam Darnold has this offense operating.
Fourth down. We were just joined by ESPN's Brady Henderson, who's also out here watching OTAs. Anything stand out from that conversation?
Yeah, I love when he said Spoon's better than Trent McDuffie. Just
definitive.
No doubt about it. I'm like, okay, let's go. And he said he'll be the highest paid corner in the league. I think he should and will be. I also like the way he described the Rashid Shaheed situation, because I was kind of skeptical with that too. Like, how much are they willing to pay for Rashid Shaheed? And that just shows you kind of like the domino effect of this whole thing, because Boye Mafe signs elsewhere, Kobe signs elsewhere, Reek signs elsewhere, and then they're like, probably, okay, we have a bit more cash to throw at Rashid. Let's make sure we lock this up. And then the last one is Horton. 14 games out of Horton would be great, but I'm hoping that you get a full season out of him and that he continues to learn from Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp can take a step back. He doesn't have to be the number 2 receiver. I would love for him to be the number 2 receiver, but if he's the number 3, that means Horton's moving in the right direction, and Coop can save his body for the playoffs run and just be healthy throughout the year.
I also like that answer on Horton, because I think it's not pumping the brakes like we're trying to caution ourselves to do with some players in OTAs, which is a good point. It's just one of those common questions that we get a ton. We get people asking about Horton, Riley Mills, and Robbie Oots. And I don't know why. Maybe because all 3 were injured and then had moments where they shined, or moments where you thought, wow, what if this is cool? And then you were just left wanting more. So I get it. But I think it's not to say they can't be great, but it is to say that the Seahawks don't necessarily need them to be.
Right.
And also that most of what you get from them is kind of like a plus.
Yeah.
And that, you know what I mean? That's also great. What we should be talking about is, like, you know, can Anthony Bradford improve? You know, can the offensive line stay healthy? You know, the guys that we were already talking about a lot last year, we're still talking about them. They still matter just as much.
I would say this, the one guy who needs to perform is Oots, in my opinion. I think with Horton, you can blend him in, you know, sprinkle him in here and there, but I said it for a 4-down territory last week. Oots just changes the way a defense has to line up and play you, and I hope they kind of just tap into that and see what he can do.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. A few Mariners roster moves, plus a wild quote from the Cavs following their series loss to the Knicks. It's all coming your way next.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
Oh, man, the ups and downs of any baseball season are obviously incredible, but this one feels like it's got a lot of ups and downs.
Beyond the expectations, why does this feel so volatile? Is there's kind of like real life stuff off the field, the real life injury stuff.
I think it's being close. I think it's feeling like that goal is right in front of you. You got to the ALCS last year. You are so close.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round, no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place. With People Come First.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Dave Wyman here to talk about a revolutionary treatment for prostate cancer at Swedish called CyberKnife. I want to bring in Dr. Meyer, medical director of the Swedish Radiosurgery Center, with the most experienced prostate cancer treatment team in the Northwest. Dr. Meyer, is CyberKnife a new treatment?
You know, the CyberKnife technology is not new. The system has been around for more than a decade and has helped thousands of men with prostate cancer.
What can patients expect from CyberKnife treatment?
Well, the CyberKnife system is designed to help you gain control over your prostate cancer in the shortest number of treatments, and with the least impact on your romantic life and on your urinary and bowel function. The result, well, you get back to a normal, healthy life faster.
To learn more about CyberKnife for prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/CyberKnifeProstate or give them a call, 206-320-7187. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
CyberKnife is a registered trademark of Accuray Incorporated and is used with permission.
Mariners and A's tonight in Sacramento. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. payments. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here with Dr. Coogan from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. And Doc, what do you say to people who are considering those GLP-1 injections for weight loss?
Before you start, ask yourself this. Are you prepared to spend $3,000 to $5,000 per year and stay on the medications long-term to maintain the results? Many prescription weight loss injections require weekly shots, and when the medication is stopped, weight gain is common. And most people don't realize research shows a significant portion of the weight lost can come from muscle, which may slow your metabolism and make keeping the weight off even harder.
From personal experience, I can tell you Eastside Weight Loss Clinic takes a different approach, a doctor-developed program helping people lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days.
No injections, no synthetic hormones, no long-term dependence. Instead, we use real food to reset your metabolism, control hunger, and cravings naturally.
So come to their clinic in Kirkland or do the program from anywhere you live with easy remote options. If you want a safe, affordable alternative to weight loss injections,
go to eastsideweightlossklinic.com to keep the weight off for good.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This is The Timeline.
With Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline. Going to start with a quick Mariners roster move, one that we were all expecting, but good news, Gabe Speyer's been reinstated from the 15-day IL, so a little bit of news there. Let's get to the rest of the stories on our timeline. We're going to start with the NBA semifinals. How about some wild quotes from the Cavs following their series loss to the Knicks? I'm going to file this under like sore loser talk, but this one is a first. This one's a first. We're going to go to cut number 10. Head coach of the Cavs, Kenny Atkinson, said that prior to Game 4, the series had actually been a lot closer if you just look at the analytics.
Analytically, I think we've won the I said 3 out of 3. We're 2 out of 3 in the expected. I don't know if you guys follow that. There's like an expected score, and we won 2 out of the 3. And I know you're looking confused, but there is really, if you believe in process and all that, like, man, I'll take that layer. I know I don't throw that on them. I see it for myself. We have this feeling, then I can go to our analytical table and be like, man, we are. And I think last night it was, the expected score was like 1 point or 2. Us shooting way below expected, them shooting way over. And I know no one wants to hear that. I think you guys like hearing it. I know, general public, no one wants to hear it. Everyone's outcome based, and sure, I get that too.
What you just heard was someone coping in real time, and I don't blame him, because what he wants to be able to say is, my coaching, my process, my philosophy, my approach works. It just didn't this time. But the only way he can support that is by saying, mathematically, it should have. You know what I mean? Like, if we made our shots and they didn't, we'd be talking about a different series here.
The only expected stats that I will consider are in baseball.
Yes.
Right? Because it makes sense.
Yes.
He's hitting the ball hard. We're expecting that it's going to all level out and he'll be here. In basketball, either you make the shot or you don't make the shot. You turn the ball over, you don't turn the ball over. And he's got to do whatever he has to say whatever he can to keep his guys engaged in all of this. But you were just out there getting smacked, Coach. Simple as that. Knicks were smacking that you-know-what's. And, yes, I think you're absolutely right. This is him coping in real time. And he probably went back and looked at that and heard himself speak and shook his head. You ever, lose an argument, you're in the shower reliving it, you're like, damn, I should have said this.
Yeah.
He did that.
This is exactly that. Or I'll just listen to where I was horrible in a segment and go, God, I can't even listen back to myself. It's so bad. That's how I hope he feels that way.
Man.
Because I think the only excuse, and I think it's still tacky to give, but the only excuse that I would let a coach kind of be like, well, I kind of get what he's trying to say, would be, we didn't have our guys.
Yeah.
If you're down several starters and you go, yeah, I'm going to forever wonder what we would have looked like if so-and-so was out there. But that wasn't the case. Your best guys didn't play their best ball, and you got outsmarted and outplayed by another team. Yeah. And that just is what it is. And you also especially can't say it during a sweep.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you didn't take this one down to the wire. You were swept.
You know what? Players reflect coaching. Cannot wait till you get to this next clip.
Well, let's go ahead and get to it, Bump. Funny enough, you say that. This was following Monday's blowout loss to the Knicks. We're going to go to cut 11. James Harden still thinks his Cavs were the better team.
Yeah, it was 4-0, but I don't think we had a chance as far as our best shot. From a standpoint of the circumstances. Obviously they dominated us. 4-0, but I don't know if I can necessarily answer that question, just because genuinely I do feel like we are the better team, but series wise, it didn't show it. So
yeah, it's 4-0, but is so objectively funny. Like, I laughed out loud just hearing the sentence. Yeah, we were swept in 4 games. But when you think about it, no, nothing else you say after that carries any weight. You got swept. It is what it is. You lost. You were not the better team. If you were, you would have won.
At least a game.
A game.
Like, he didn't win a game, dog. And then the last game, you got blown out by, 35, 40 points.
But analytically, they didn't, though. Analytically, they lost by
ridiculous.
Like 3-6.
James Harden, you've been in this league long enough to know better than to say some nonsense like that. And a lot of it is because, once again, James Harden didn't show up the way that this team needed to in the playoffs, right? That's going to be James Harden's legacy, is that his teams do not win championships. I remember there was an interview with LeBron and Kobe, and this is when James Harden was starting to really light things up. And Kobe even said this. He said, they're not going to be able to win championships like that. How do you win championships? During the playoffs, you got to play good defense. You got to have a half-court offense. And you need your stars to show up. And for some reason, he doesn't show up. He's delusional. See you at Magic City in Atlanta. You go ahead and start your offseason, buddy.
I understand the human element of why someone would feel like this after the fact, right?
No, he should not.
No,
4-0.
I'm saying the human element. It's not right. It's not a good excuse. But I know why someone would feel salty after losing. Like, as humans, you would start to try to make excuses for yourself because you're coping with the frustration.
That's his problem.
Yeah.
You're making excuses. Y'all just got smacked. Take it. I didn't play good enough. I didn't help my team out.
Exactly. Because the truth is that you were not the better team. And the truth is that you did not analytically outperform the Knicks. I'm going to start using that. I like it when during the quote from Cash, can you start that one more time? Cut number 10, Kenny Atkinson.
Analytically, I think we've won I said 3 out of 3. We're 2 out of 3 in the expected. I don't know if you guys follow that. There's like an expected score.
Okay, go ahead. Stop it. The best part is the audience interaction there. I don't know if you guys follow it. I know you're looking confused. I don't know if you follow it, but it makes it better, really, to highlight that other people are very confused, that they are confused on their faces by what he's saying.
You're looking at him like, you are wilding right now, son.
I'm going to start saying that when I'm late to work. I'm going to turn to you and Curtis, and I'm going to go, if you look at the expected drive time, my expected arrival time, I actually was here before you guys, but it just didn't end up that way. But like, I would say 3 out of the last 5 days I've been here on time if you look at the expected arrival time.
815 says, come on, they won 7 games, 2 series in a row. They ran out of gas. Sounds like you and James Harden are going to kick it this weekend. Okay?
And you're going to have a great time.
Come on. Yeah, they played so what? They got swept. Come on, man.
Next up, Bump talked about this in 40 on territory. We're going to get to the sound this time. Is the NFL in danger of losing its luster on Sundays? Jason Kelsey thinks that scheduling too many standalone games might have some unintended consequences. Cut number 8. Take a listen to what Jason had to say.
Sunday is the day of football, right? Outside of going to church in the morning, if you're still religious and you do that, Sunday is like where so many games happen, and that's what you grow up in. You gear your entire week around watching football on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's an institution at this point, the NFL playing games on Sunday. With every day that we keep adding in there, we're getting away from that just a little bit. And I worry that I think the game got big. One of the reasons it got so popular and big was because all of the game, it was an event. Sunday is the NFL, and everybody set their week apart to tune into their games that were happening on Sunday, and you're watching kind of all of them now take place across Sunday Ticket, right? I worry that we're getting away from that just a little bit by building too many of this.
I can't tell if I disagree with Jason. I'm going to be honest.
I do. I think more football, the better. I think you can play football on any day of the week, and fans are going to watch it. The NFL did a great job of admitting their blunder with the doubleheader Monday games.
That's why.
They're making these decisions based off of viewership and how people are tuning in. So as long as people are tuning in on these Thursdays, Fridays, Wednesdays, whatever the heck, they're going to do it. So we'll know this year, though, we'll know, right? Because we'll have every day covered except for Tuesday. No, I personally love it. If I can go home after work every day, drop my kids off at practice, and know that I'm going to be watching a football game, that's heaven to me.
I hear you. I receive you. I'm hearing you and I'm seeing you, and I say this with love and light. But I was actually thinking of those doubleheaders on Monday because I had the same feeling of, oh my God, how fun, a doubleheader. And then it didn't feel good. It wasn't fulfilling me spiritually as a football fan. It didn't feel right. It's not how I wanted to enjoy the game. I wanted one primetime game that we would watch. Now, I'm not mad at, Thursday night to me is also a football night. It's Thursday night football. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Monday night. Monday night is just part of the NFL. It's been that way. That's just what it is. So with him Jason, looking at Wednesdays or maybe a random Friday, these are not every single week. This is going to be, there's a Christmas Day game. There's a Christmas Eve game. There's a day before Thanksgiving. These are infrequent enough that I don't think it's a massive problem. But where I agree with him is they won't carry the same weight as Sunday. I don't think it dilutes Sunday. Sunday is still football. Mm-hmm. The NFL rules that day on the calendar. I think it ends up diluting a game where if I'm not paying attention on a random Friday game that I kind of forgot about because it's not the Seahawks, it's not a team I care about, it's Panthers, Falcons facing off, suddenly I'm looking at my phone going, oh, wait, it's halftime. I wasn't even paying attention to this game. And then, it's low scoring. I don't even know that I want to watch.
You know what? At some point, Thursday night football was like that for you, too. And now look at you. Love you some Thursday night football.
I do.
We just gotta
get into the best day of the week.
No, it's not the best day of the week, but get into some grooves.
Hang on. No,
that's kind of your whole thing, Bob.
For football, it's not the best day of the week.
We're having some revisionist history. Curtis, I seem to remember Michael Bump is saying that Thursday was the best day of the week. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. He did say that. He stood 10 toes down on that.
He sure did. Would you like to walk it back?
No, I'm still on it. Thursday is during football season for me, best day of the week.
You don't believe it anymore. No,
I literally do. I do. The best games should not be played on Thursday, though.
Let's go around the diamond. The Mariners go for a series win tonight against the A's. Curtis wrote redacted. A's.
We're not allowed to say Sacramento, but
yes, very
Sacramento.
Good point. Pregame is at 5:30 p.m. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. That's Around the Diamond, brought to you by Klein Jewelers, Edmonds. Bob Nightengale joining us at noon. Before then, head to the station for Hype Train. It's coming your way next.
Think you know the Mariners? Not if you aren't subscribed to the Daily Mariners newsletter from Seattle Sports.
That's what they've been waiting for.
The latest Mariners news and injury updates. Exclusives from Mariners insider Shannon Drayer.
You look at the pieces and how it works.
Plus the best takes and breakdowns from your favorite Seattle Sports hosts and contributors.
The Mariners seem to be trying to build something that I think is a little bit more sustainable.
The Daily Mariners newsletter.
Monster solo home run.
Subscribe at seattlesports.com/newsletter.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacygroup.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacygroup.com.
I've always wanted to learn French.
but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Spring is here, Seattle, and now is the smartest time to replace your roof. Trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing, a local, family-owned company that knows how to roof in Washington weather year-round. Schedule your free estimate today at 3treeroofing.com to take advantage of spring pricing, shorter wait times, and get $500 off your new roof before the summer rush hits. Our experts come to you, build a clear plan, and give you an estimate that same day. No surprises and no high-pressure sales tactics. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Mariners and A's tonight in Sacramento. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you, gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse, your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on oil?
We've got many markdowns on oil.
How about on that new STP Any Mileage?
You'll save $5 when you buy 5 quarts of STP Any Mileage with an oil filter and get up to 5,000 miles of protection.
Heck of a markdown for quite a lot of miles.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's John Curley with my friend Bob Stelton. Hey, Bob, you had a hip issue just like me. You went to see Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. What did he tell you?
You got a torn labrum, you got a frayed ligament, you've got arthritis developing. He said, this isn't going to fix everything, but it will go a long way. I was walking around at about an 8 pain level. I couldn't walk that far before the pain would kick in, and it was impacting my workouts and just really impacting my day-to-day stuff beyond jiu-jitsu.
So, just like me, Dr. Wagner does stem cell on your hip. How you feeling now?
I feel like I've gotten back to being who I was prior to the injuries, which was somebody who's very active, loves being out there outside when the weather's great, being on the motorcycle, sparring in jiu-jitsu, working out. I can do all of those things now.
So whether it's a shoulder, a hip, a wrist, knee, or elbow, before you choose surgery, see our friend, Dr. Wagner first. He'll tell you if stem cell is right for you. drmarkwagnermd.com. Make an appointment at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Around the Diamond is sponsored by Klein Jewelers.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bob Nightengale is joining us at noon. As a reminder, it's Tuesday, and the dugout, all Mariners, is coming your way at 1. We're going to start by being joined by Shannon and Drayer. Again, that's coming up at 1. Bob Nightengale at noon. Before we get to any of it, let's head to the station for Hype Train. First train in. Mariners have 2 more here against the A's. They remain a game and a half back in the series. This is your first Hype Train. The Mariners are in first place by Thursday.
All right, today is Tuesday. Not a game today. Game tomorrow. And they're going to win both of those games. And they're playing the team that's the first place in the division. So, yes, I'm on this. I think they're going to get it done. They will be in first place. The vibes will be better. You'll have a traditional start tonight. Who's on the mound tonight?
Emerson Hancock.
Emerson
Hancock. Let's see if he can find his groove again. I think that some of the bats have taken turns being hot. Cole Emerson had a 3-4 hit day the other day. Randy had a good day. Luke has been playing well. Ken Zone's been doing his thing. It's the perfect time to just have the bats overshadow everything that happened yesterday between Miller and Castillo.
The Mariners are in first place by Thursday. Bump is boarding. Curtis, are you?
It felt right last night seeing the Mariners beat the A's because I look at the talent of both of these teams, especially when it comes to pitching. Like Aaron Cifali, like that should happen every time he's out on the mound with the Mariners facing him. Ultimately, this Mariners team is more talented than the A's. I think talent will win out even without Cal Raleigh in the lineup. So that would mean they're, a game and a half back of the A's right now? I think they win these next 2. Yes, we're boarding this train. I have the utmost confidence. Not really, but I think they are the better
but
team.
You have enough.
Yeah, I have enough confidence that this Mariners team is better than the A's at the end of the day. If you play a full 162, yes, the Mariners may not win, more than like 86, 87 games this year, but I think they're better than the A's.
Yeah, I do too. I'm boarding this train as well. And like you, Curtis, it's not with the utmost confidence, but it is with confidence. There's some confidence there. Yeah, I think they get it done. First place here to open up a series on Friday. Who are they playing on Friday?
The Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks, thank you. Yeah, because I'm going to Arizona. We did it opposite. I didn't think that one through.
You guys will pass each other in the air.
Just passing ships in the night. Next up. Speaking of the Mariners, we see at least one more piggyback start with Bryce Miller and Luis Castillo.
Man, this is a tough one because there's no way they're going to ignore what happened yesterday. There's no way that this isn't a conversation that they're not having. Now, what results from that conversation is completely different, but they're talking about Castillo's reaction. They're talking about Miller's interview. What did they do with it? But I think we're going to see it one more time. I think you had a decent one the first time around, a better one the second time around. I think you need to see at least 3 times before you make a decision. So, yeah, I'm on it.
We will see one more piggyback start with Bryce Miller and Luis Castillo. Bump is boarding. Curtis, are you?
Unfortunately, I think we do see another one. We're boarding this train because it's actually gone well on the mound. The results have gone well, and I think that's kind of all the Mariners are caring about right now. I don't think they're caring about the feelings of either Bryce Miller or Luis Castillo. They're just looking at that 2.12 ERA over 17 innings of work their last 2 times out. I think they're also looking at how the bullpen has been barely used either time that both Miller and Castillo have been out. It's working from a results standpoint, maybe not so much from an ego, from a feeling standpoint, but I think the Mariners cannot be more pleased from what they have seen the last 2 times out. They have these guys piggyback.
Yeah, I'm boarding as well. I think that the second that they got such a commanding win, even if it's not like the piggyback, it's not like it was a 2-1 win and they avoided going to the bullpen and Castillo and Bryce were great. The offense gave you 9 runs. Like you're gonna win most of the time with that kind of lead, but the win adds some wind to their sails. Next up, speaking of the piggybacks, spotted on cameras during this game was Luis Castillo, a very frustrated Luis Castillo in the dugout, tossing his glove, throwing things, clearly upset that he was being pulled. I saw this take, so it's our next hype train. Luis Castillo was being a bad teammate to react the way he did.
No, I'm not on this one. I think he's had so many years of great behavior, of being calm, of being solid like a rock. That's why they call him the Rock. That, man, people make mistakes, you know? I'm sure he's not proud of it. I'm sure he saw himself throwing a tantrum in the dugout. His mom might have called him, be like, man, you got to chill. He's not proud of that moment. But I also appreciate that moment because it shows he just really wants it. So now I think his teammates understand, too. I was watching Julio kind of look at him when he did it, and I saw Young, the first baseman coach, kind of peek at it. And you just let him be. You just leave him alone in that moment. It's not personal. It's just about, a decision that was made. So, no, I'm fine with it. Now, if he keeps doing that, that's different.
Sure. Curtis, the take is Luis Castillo is being a bad teammate to react the way he did. Bump is not boarding. Doesn't think that's the case. Do you?
I'm not boarding either. I want to see that competitive fire out of my teammates if I were in that dugout. I think that's a good thing, especially, I don't know. There have been some times in years past where I've kind of looked at Luis Castillo and it's like, why aren't you reacting this way in this spot? He's always so cool and calm and always put together. But last night, obviously, the frustration of getting pulled when things were going really well for him, that's got to sting. And so hopefully kind of uses that as some fuel to, maybe reestablishing himself in the rotation at some point later on in the season. But I don't think he was a bad teammate. I think everybody can kind of see what was going on in that situation, probably feel for him a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think being a bad teammate is consistently putting yourself over your team and often in a way that hinders or hurts your team. It's getting into bad situations that take you out of games, things like that. And to Bump's first point, it's doing it consistently. Showing emotion when you're frustrated is just human. That's just being a person on a team where you went out and you tried your best and you didn't get a chance to do what you thought you should.
Yep.
So I think it's as simple as that. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Coming up, talking Mariners and MLB with USA Today's Bob Nightengale.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
What does baseball and Klein Jewelers have in common? Diamonds, of course. Hi, Andy Klein here. Sure, we love baseball, but we love diamonds even more. Why? Because our diamonds sparkle and last longer than 9 innings. Every diamond is hand-selected for maximum brilliance, quality, and value. Klein Jewelers by the Fountain in downtown Edmonds also has a big selection of engagement rings, wedding bands, diamond and gemstone fashion jewelry, and one-of-a-kind custom designs. Swing for the fences and shine with Klein.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just help make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check from Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires, including all-terrain, highway, all-season, and all-weather. So go ahead. Explore with confidence. Les Schwab Tires. We're here to help you take the long way. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale for details.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Washington is helping men take control of their health with a free, comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value included when starting treatment. Your panel checks key health markers, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidneys, liver, and thyroid, so you can finally understand what your body's been trying to tell you. Since 2011, over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Get answers, get a plan, and start feeling better. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free, comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Listen every morning to Brock and Salk for Need to Know, powered by Marquee Data. Marquee IQ brings all your data together into one clear view. Stop running your business on highlights. Get the full picture. Visit datathatwins.com to learn more.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now it's the final days of our Everything's on Sale event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses. Our Memorial Day event ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
Your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Improve your play with 40% off installation or 0% financing for 16 months with equal payments. And we're giving back with 2 $5,000 scholarships for our local youth sports teams. Upgrade your home today at PellaPNW.com.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Some good injury news for the Seattle Mariners. They've reinstated Gabe Spire off the IL. The Mariners offense unloaded yesterday in their series opener against the A's. A 9-2 win that included home runs from Luke Raley, Dom Canzone, J.P. Crawford, and Randy Arozarena. They remained 1.5 games back with 2 to play against the A's. Game 2 today at 6:40 p.m.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Joined now by USA Today's Bob Nightengale. And Bob, I wanted to start by asking you about your thoughts with the Mariners' choice to piggyback Luis Castillo and Bryce Miller. Neither starter seemed happy about it yesterday. Now, granted, they only gave up 2 runs in a 9-2 win over the A's, a series they could desperately use right now. So, in theory, it was good on paper, but I'm sure you saw and heard the quotes and Luis Castillo throwing his glove in the dugout. No one's happy. What's your overall opinion about the Mariners' decision to do this?
Well, you're not going to have a veteran pitcher that's happy about that. Everyone that's tried that, the pitchers complain. For Castillo to, pitch that well, and then, only had, 62 pitches or so, then don't even give him a chance to have the win. That hurts. I mean, wins do mean a lot to starting pitchers, and to take that away from them, I'm sure it's infuriating. So I've never heard of any pitcher, particularly, veteran pitcher, that likes the piggyback thing. It's okay to do it with the young guys. They're just happy to be in the big leagues, but you really can't do it with the veterans.
How do you think the Mariners handle this? I mean, internally, you have your, one of your guys in the dugouts throwing a tantrum. You get comments from Bryce after the game, and it doesn't go addressed. How do you think this whole thing is handled?
Well, I think they got to make a decision, Michael. I mean, decide, who's got that fifth spot. And if you want to, put Castillo in the bullpen, do it. If you want to put a Miller in the bullpen, do it. But you got to make a decision. Arizona Diamondbacks did that with Brandon Pfaadt. They just had gave him an extension in the offseason. He came out, he lost his starting job, but he's, kind of the bulk reliever. Doesn't like it, would rather be in the rotation, but at least he knows his role. In this case, I think it's unfair to both guys, Castillo and Miller.
I'm glad you mentioned that importance of knowing your role, because to me, that's kind of the problem here is there are so many pieces, and that includes like platoon stuff with the Mariners, questions at third base that are just up in the air. And I see a lot of people say, who cares if the players are upset? You're here to do a job. You're getting paid to do it. And if you can't, then just deal with it. But I don't know, Bob, I think player feelings matter very much when it comes to your clubhouse and getting there. But you've seen many teams. And so I guess I'll ask you, is how much do player feelings actually matter here?
I think it matters a lot because it can destroy a clubhouse. When the San Francisco Giants win those 3 World Series in 5 years, they never had the best team, but they had the best clubhouse. And, and if you have, 2 of your starting pitchers upset, it rubs off on different people. I'm sure that clubhouse, I wasn't in there yesterday in Sacramento, but I'm sure the clubhouse is like, well, it's a little hard for guys to get excited when they know that 2 of their starting pitchers, 2 of their veterans who are very well liked are upset. So I think it can permeate the entire clubhouse and, ruin morale.
We were describing the Mariners as a team that just has a lot going on. We talked about the piggyback situation. Cal's banged up. JP offers to move to third. Donovan's banged up. Spire's coming back. What is the more interesting story to you so far when it comes to this team, and how do you expect them to kind of work through all the turbulence they have?
Well, they just kind of deciding, what they could do there with Crawford and Emerson. What are you going to do when Gorman comes back? It's just they got so many players kind of doing the same position. Love to see what happens. When they get to full strength. The best thing for the Mariners is that the division, it stunk. The worst one in baseball. So they're still alive. So, but so when I said Gorman, I meant Ben Donovan. But when Donovan, comes back, he's such a good player. But you got to play him every day, and the best thing about him is his versatility. So I think at some point, though, toward the trade deadline, you got to trade one of those extra outfielders, and get some more help, probably in our reliever.
Obviously, many shortstops as they age, might go to second or what have you. How hard is it for a guy, if it's that difficult or more difficult, to transition to third, which JP's offered to do?
It's not easy, but people have done it. Obviously we saw Alex Rodriguez do it. When he signed back there with Jeter at the shortstop. The Astros, they've done it. And he moved over to third base. Carlos Correa. So guys can do it as long as you embrace it. And we see more and more people do it. Manny Machado, came up as a shortstop. He moved over to third, and became a Gold Glove third baseman. So you're seeing it happen, more often. I thought it was pretty cool for him to, volunteer to do that. So, okay, this is how much I want to stay here. instead of saying, hey, I'm the veteran, I'm not moving for any rookie.
What do you when you look at this division? A game and a half behind the A's right now, and I hate depending on everyone else to kind of just stay mediocre and have this team get better. What do you think is missing from this team? Is it just getting healthy? Is it consistency? What do you think is the glitch in the system right now?
Just a consistency. I mean, without Cal Raleigh doing what he did, last year he carried that team. Obviously, he struggled at the outset, when the injury list. Just getting any production from him should help push that team back, and then getting Donovan going too. He was a very good player. Everybody wanted Donovan. So I think just those two guys, back in the lineup doing what they normally do should push him over the top. Because one thing you got to remember is that, the A's have been in kind of a rebuild here. They want that team to be great when they get to Las Vegas. So they're a year earlier right now, which means at the trade deadline, they're not going to make any big moves to try to go for this thing. Where if you're the Mariners, you got to make the big moves. You got to be aggressive.
Hey, I wanted to get back to something you said that kind of stuck with me, and that was about what having a good clubhouse can do, that an unhappy player can sometimes permeate clubhouse culture, and conversely, that sometimes a team that isn't the best team can win by virtue of just having a great clubhouse. I think this team, based on everything I hear, Bob, and I'm sure you hear far more than I do, is really surprised to be where they are, like including players. And I think that's led to, at least from the outside looking in, just kind of a weird feeling of like frustration and confusion. It just doesn't feel like they're clicking, which is weird because they're mostly the same team from the year before. So how do you get or fix a clubhouse that's frustrated? Is it having the right players? Is it on the manager?
Well, you got to have a great communication and make sure they're all in this together. You got to stay together during the tough times like this. If there's at the clubhouse, if guys are grumbling about what happened yesterday, again today, then it's time to have a team meeting, not just the two pitchers. Have everybody involved. So okay, we got to fix this thing. I'm sure it's very frustrating for the Mariners. They were heavy favorites to win the division, one game away from the World Series last year. They got way too much talent to be under 500.
What do you like out of Colt Emerson so far?
Just maturity. Just it's a young man's game now. It's amazing how many young rookies are doing it. Whether you're 19, 20, 21, but I've never seen this many crop of rookies all come up at the same time and do well. But it just seems like he has to get a great head on his shoulders. It doesn't get down on himself, which is what you need. Because the last thing the Mariners or any team wants is for a guy to call him up, struggle, then have to set him down again. That's embarrassing to the player.
I wanted to ask about Cal Raleigh. I know we don't necessarily have answers, but you obviously have covered many seasons where prominent players have landed on the IL with oblique strains. Justin Hollander said it was grade 1-ish, that it was really fairly mild considering how bad it could have been. We were told that Cal is still on track, but certainly it's going to be longer than 10 days. How long might it normally take a guy to get back from, let's say, a minor oblique strain?
Well, it can drag on, sometimes, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. But I think in this case, it's probably good for him to have a mental reset. I know how excited he was to play in the World Baseball Classic. I covered every game, and I think, that hurt him. So, we were talking about hurting pitchers, but for him not to get the reps, for him to struggle there on the big stage and then kind of have the embarrassment of, just being a bench player in the semifinals and finals, I think hurt his confidence a lot. I mean, here's a guy that, should have won the MVP award last year, and now he's just sitting on the bench, during big games. So I think that hurt him. So I think being on the injury list now may help him a lot, particularly just getting a mental restart here.
Have your expectations changed for the Mariners?
No, I still expect him to, to be that team to win the division. I'd still be very surprised if they don't. The only thing that might have changed where I thought, okay, they got a chance to, get to the World Series. This would be the year when, you look around, and the Yankees are powerful. Tampa Bay's playing on their mind again. They got that great pitching. You keep waiting for the Mariners pitching to be as great as it was. It's been good, but not as fabulous as it was in years past. So right now, it's like even if they made the playoffs, unless things change, you're not thinking, okay, this team's going to the World Series. Did they have to surprise, teams like Yankees, Tampa, even Cleveland for that matter?
Do you think that given how tight the American League race is right now, we could see a trickier trade deadline?
It could. I mean, with so many teams involved, it's like, okay, who's going to trade away pieces? And the answer may be not too many because everybody's still in the race. Maybe the Angels might move some people, but with so many teams in the race, even as bad as Houston's been, and they've been horrendous. Now they will reel off 4 straight wins, sweep the Cubs, get the no-hitter last night. And they never really give up. So it's hard to see them just completely waving the white flag. So that's the little danger is that with so many teams around, the Mariners maybe can't get that late inning reliever that they want.
How do you feel about Dan's decision making so far this season? That's kind of been a gripe with some of our texters, especially after seeing Castillo, have his moment last night. People were saying maybe you should have left him in. Just how good of a job is Dan doing so far this year?
Well, I think with managers, particularly young managers like Dan is, as far as experience-wise, there's so many decisions that are made upstairs. I don't know if it is for a fact, but I'd be completely shocked that if the piggyback situation was Dan's decision. Obviously he was in the meeting and everything else, but I think this comes with, all people upstairs and stuff like that. You just don't make those kind of decisions by yourself. Unless you're, a Bruce Bochy or Terry Francona sort of thing. So even, the lineups, and I know when, the teams are underachieving, everybody blames the manager, but there's a lot of collaboration with everybody involved. That lineup comes out. It's not just saying, here, Dan, here's a lineup card. You're making it out every day. He's getting a lot of input.
If they end up winning with another piggyback, but it's kind of like it was last time where it's like the offense just, did so much that you were almost guaranteed a win, and players were still unhappy. Would you as a front office consider shelving it just based purely on player unhappiness?
No, definitely. If you have people just completely upset, and then if you have, their starters saying, well, how come you weren't doing it, with everybody else too? Like you said, I mean, I know people don't think wins are important. Wins are still very important to starting pitchers. And for Castillo to be, taken away from that after throwing being dominant for 4 innings, why not let him go one more? Why not let him go, 2 more innings? That sort of thing. So they gotta fix that. I mean, the starting pitcher should, if he's pitching well, should at least be allowed to go 5 innings. But no, I think they got to make a decision here. They may tell Castillo, well, if you don't like it, you're going to be the long man in the bullpen. And, things always sort itself out. Someone gets hurt. Someone starts struggling. I'm sure they don't want to move anybody right now. If this, exists, in the off season, okay, you can trade somebody, but you can't trade away a starter now because as soon as you do, you're going to need that guy.
He is USA Today's Bob Nightengale. Thanks so much, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Sure. See you, Michael.
Have a good one. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, ESPN's Brady Henderson says the Seahawks offered Devin Witherspoon a contract extension weeks ago, but both sides remain apart on an agreement. What's the real headline?
Spoon is telling the Seahawks to fork over a new deal.
Yeah, we talked to
Spoon,
Brady.
But fork.
Fork, yes.
Get it?
Fork, yeah.
Because they're silverware.
Yeah.
But actions also.
Perfect. Well done.
Your turn now.
We say I can go? Okay, cool. We spoke to Brady earlier, and Brady is like, look, he's going to be the highest paid corner in the game.
Yeah.
He's better than Trip McDuffie. This is going to get done. It doesn't sound like there's any hostility, between the two. He's here at voluntary stuff, so I'm not too worried about this. You just got to start low if you're negotiating, and if you're a spoon, you got to start high. So just be in the middle somewhere.
Do you think it's interesting that we have typically thought of lockdown, shutdown corners as being guys that get so many picks? I mean, you're thinking about, Richard Sherman going toe-to-toe with whoever else, Patrick Peterson, whoever. And yet when you look at the two highest-paid corners right now, Sauce Gardner and Trent McDuffie, and then Spoon presumably being one of them, collectively, they have no more than 3 or so picks not collectively, individually they have no more than 3, maybe 4 picks. These aren't guys that get a lot of interceptions. Why is that?
No, but they affect the ball game in different areas. You get pass breakups. They just eliminate a side. You can blitz with the Spoon. You can move around, do other things. So, yeah, I think the easy way to eval is look at interceptions, and I'm sure whoever has the most interceptions in the league last year is a baller, but it's versatility, and that's what Spoon brings to the table.
What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Knicks are back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999 after finishing off a sweep of the Cavaliers last night. What's the real headline?
Against all odds, a team from the biggest media market in the country and owned by James Dolan has become likable? I guess.
27 years, man. 27 years. When I was watching Larry Johnson, Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell, Patrick Ewing make that run, there's no way I thought, okay, this is the last time I'm going to see these guys in 27 years. I was just a boy. I was 12, 13 years old the last time they made this run. And it was fun. And it felt like they had that same type of energy. You know, in the 90s, they were consistently good. I think went to the finals in, 90-something?
94, yeah.
Houston Rockets, I believe they played. But, yeah, it's nice to see them back. And I like the New York energy of their fans in the streets. It's been fun to watch.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, the Spurs and Oklahoma City have tied up the Western Conference Finals at 2 games apiece. They have a pivotal Game 5 tonight. What's the real headline?
OKC should try literal piggybacking to stop Wemby because he's tall.
That's right.
Because he's so tall, so
huge.
if they stand on their shoulders with a trench coat.
I think of the Little Rascals when they did that. In that movie, The Little Rascals. I think they tried to get a loan for a bank or something like that. Wemby is something special, man. And this is the best series in the playoffs so far, in my opinion. You got 2 teams going at it. I think Detroit coming back against Orlando was pretty cool to watch, too. But no, this is the future of the NBA. You got a team in OKC that's extremely young, picks for days, and then you have Wemby, who we've never seen anybody like this. Never seen it. So this should be fun. Go Spurs, go, and get her done tonight.
Now, I know you said go Spurs, but are either of you actually taking the Spurs to advance? You think they're truly the better team? Again, series tied 2 apiece.
I think they definitely have a shot.
Yeah.
I think
They have a shot doesn't make me feel confident.
OKC's deeper, for sure.
Okay.
But the Spurs are talented with Wemby, with Castle, with Harper, with Fox. They definitely have a chance. They have something that the Spurs don't have, which is a 7'5" guy who can dribble, shoot, drive to the rack, block shots. Chet can try his best to do his best with Wemby, but that's not going down.
Is it a more entertaining finals matchup to have OKC advance and kind of be the bad guys? Or is seeing the Spurs advance with Wemby the more entertaining?
I would love seeing the Spurs go with Wemby because that would balance things out a bit. You know, OKC has been just really dominant the past 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So to get Wemby to go to the finals, that means they would attract some veterans, some free agents, and just let these guys go back and forth. I mean, take it back to the early 2000s where it was my Lakers and the Pistons going at it every single year for about 5 years.
Which team is going to have that we saw, let's say, maybe not early rounds, but of the remaining 4, which is going to have the hardest time getting back? Cavs already eliminated. Either the Spurs or OKC on the verge of being eliminated.
It might be the Cavs.
Yeah.
Because James Harden's, 36? Donovan Mitchell is, I think, nearing 30. They've got a lot of questions about their front line with guys like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, who have not necessarily, I think, improved in recent seasons. Like, they're good, but they're just not peaking when they should be. I think Cleveland's going to have the toughest time. And now, there is the rumor that they could be in play for LeBron James again this summer because LeBron's a free agent, and that would be where he could cap off his career. I don't know if a 42-year-old LeBron pushes Cleveland over the top.
Conversely, is OKC in the other side of things? Biggest window, deepest team, one of the younger.
I think both OKC
Spurs,
and San Antonio,
younger.
I think both those teams are going to be here for at least the next 4 or 5 years.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. What I need to know coming your way at 12:45. Get those questions in now. Any question, sports, non-sports, doesn't matter. 866-979-3776. Taking a look around the NFL next.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
Oh, man, the ups and downs of any baseball season are obviously incredible, but this one feels like it's got a lot of ups and downs.
Beyond the expectations, why does this feel so volatile? Is there's kind of like real life stuff off the field, the real life injury stuff.
I think it's being close. I think it's feeling like that goal is right in front of you. You got to the ALCS last year. You are so close.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Spring is here, Seattle, and now is the smartest time to replace your roof. Trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing, a local, family-owned company that knows how to roof in Washington weather year-round. Schedule your free estimate today at 3treeroofing.com to take advantage of spring pricing, shorter wait times, and get $500 off your new roof before the summer rush hits. Our experts come to you, build a clear plan, and give you an estimate that same day. No surprises and no high-pressure sales tactics. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. Donate your car today.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Mariners and A's tonight in Sacramento. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Everyone can calm down. Lamar Jackson reported for Ravens voluntary OTAs on Tuesday. You can bet that would have been the top story had he not. It would have been, oh my God, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they're not going to make it work out now. Last week when we had NFL headlines and there was, I forget if it was Ian Rappaport or someone that was like, yeah, they're not particularly close, but it's nothing, but they're not close. I was like, it either is or it isn't a big deal. So look, him showing up there, maybe it's not.
That gives me Spoon vibes. Like, you're going to get it done.
Yeah.
We might not be at the right number yet, but you want to be here. We
between A.J. Brown and the Eagles.
I've thought all along the New England Patriots. I'm not wavering. I know people have come up with other teams. I know that there have been other teams that have been trotted out there, speculated on, not seeing it. Just not seeing it. Now, again, we'll see how the week evolves. We'll see what transpires on June 1st. But I've said all along, I expect him to be a Patriot. I'm not wavering. I'll stick to that and ride with that. And I think at this time next week, he'll be in New England.
We were hearing nonstop drama about A.J. Brown in Philly. Is that something that we're going to realize was maybe just a bad combination between the two? Like, what if A.J. Brown is a model citizen with the Patriots?
I think that people kind of can adapt to their environment. And there's something about that environment that's taken or that's making A.J. tap into a bad place. maybe in a different environment. He just got married. Life is good for him right now. So
honeymoon.
maybe in a different environment, a new start, you'll get back to the guy that you saw with the Titans.
I would also imagine, like, we know Drake May throws downfield a ton. You immediately are the number one receiver. I think that there's maybe just a style of play that AJ would probably prefer over.
Well, we heard what they said, or rumors about Jalen Hurts throwing across the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And you know, the way this NFL is today, you got to be able to go across the middle of the field. So maybe just more options, different style of quarterback will make them happy.
All right, let's go to Cleveland for our next one. It's going to be cut 15, also from Adam Schefter. Does Adam Schefter think something's up with Cleveland, with Todd Monken admitting he has not even met Myles Garrett? Take a listen.
That is crazy, isn't it? I don't remember the last time that, you know what had happened? Khalil Mack, John Gruden, where John Gruden took over and he never met Khalil Mack. And Khalil Mack ignored him. And in the end of the summer, they traded him. Now, I'm not telling you that the Browns are trading Myles Garrett. They've been very adamant and steadfast that they're not. But I think it's hard to think that they haven't met and to think that that's just entirely coincidental. That's strange to me.
I like the idea of Schefty going, look, I am not reporting that the Browns are trading Myles Garrett, but they might. The last time it happened, a team ended up trading that guy.
Yeah, it's weird. You would think
right?
You would make a priority to meet your best player on the roster. And the longer this plays out, the more people are going to speculate. But Myles could just show up one day and call it all good and just get to work.
And maybe it's a Browns thing or a Todd Monken thing and it has nothing to do with them trading Myles. Or maybe they do deal Myles Garrett and stock up on a ton of picks and lean into developing the next iteration of their team. Earlier, we listened to Robert Mays say the Seahawks could take a swing on someone. Now, in his example, he talked about thinking maybe it would be Max Crosby. Doesn't look like he's going to leave Vegas now. I mean, this is purely speculative, and I'm saying this for a conversation starter as opposed to thinking it will happen. But what if the Seahawks are a team that would make a massive swing like that? You don't see it?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
That's fine. You know what? You're being honest, and that's important. When might the NFL expand their regular season schedule to 18 games? We're going to go to cut 17 here. Pro Football Talks' Mike Florio says it's becoming more unlikely it will happen in the 2027 season, but it's not impossible.
It continues to be inevitable that the NFL will add another regular season game. It is not inevitable that it will happen as soon as 2027. I'm told it's highly unlikely that a change will be made by then. Why were we watching 2027? Because the league still hasn't picked a day for Super Bowl 62 to be played in Atlanta in February of 2028. That's not that far away. You got to have the convention center locked down. You got to have hotel rooms reserved. They need to pick that day sooner than later. Until they do, the door is still open for the possibility of an 18th game. That's the only reason they haven't picked the date. February 13, 2028. That's the day where it will land under the current structure of the schedule. Why not pick it? Why not lock it in? Because they're still holding out hope. Slim as it may be, until February 13, 2028 becomes the date for Super Bowl 62, there is still a possibility that we'll have 18 games. For better or worse, you may love it, you may hate it. It's coming one way or the other. It could come as soon as 2027. Chances are low, but they're not yet zero.
Earlier, we talked about more football always being better. In that case, we were talking about games going away from Sunday and being on other days. Does that rule also apply to an 18th game? And if you were still a player, would you like it?
I wouldn't mind it. I think if I was a veteran, I wouldn't mind it. Actually, I probably wouldn't mind it as a veteran. As a young guy, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
As long as these teams are still doing these joint practices, I mean, that's where you have to make up for the two regular season games or preseason games that you're going to lose. You just got to be able to eval and get guys going. Typically, when you start a football season, the football's sloppy, right? The tackling isn't that great because you just don't hit the way that you used to. So you got to find a way to supplement that. As long as the product still looks as good as it can be to start the season, I'm fine with it. I think these veterans, though, like these 8, 9, 10-year guys, they're going to be the ones with the problem.
And I don't even think that the NFL would care about that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that even if the product was sloppy or they were initially struggling, for them, it would be like, okay, great, fantastic. Like, more football, always a good thing. Next story here. Devon Achane recently signed a 4-year extension with the Dolphins. We're going to go to cut 18. The Pro Bowl running back told Teron Armstead they made it clear to him they weren't ever trading him.
I feel like they kind of made that clear. Like, all his interviews, he kind of made it clear, like, we're not trading him. he one of the players that we gonna start, build the offense around and stuff like that. So I mean, he kind of, that was something that he kind of like came in and said off the get-go. So I mean, I wasn't worried about that. So I was just, when we all went, I talked to both of them one-on-one when they first got here. I mean, they kind of laid out the whole little stuff like, we're not trading you. Like, that was set from the get-go.
I mean, that's great, but I just unfortunately don't know what the plan is for Miami this year.
What do you mean?
It just feels like they're competing with the Browns and with the Cardinals for who's going to end up having a really high pick next year.
I think they invested in a quarterback, and he's going to have at least a year or two to try to figure this thing out. There's still a couple of weapons over there. In the division, you're looking at the Bills. Can the Pats back that up, what they did last year? How good are the Jets going to be, who I think offensively are going to be better? Yeah, the Dolphins are in a weird place. I'm hoping that Malik Willis goes out there and just balls out.
Me too.
That'd be fun to watch. But there's some competition in that division.
God, well, maybe you don't want him to do it against your Jets.
No, not against my Jets.
So obviously your Jets are going to be number one in the AFC East, and then I guess the Bills and Dolphins can fight it out behind them. So Patriots obviously in fourth place.
Watch Jets win the division. Oh my gosh.
They won't.
They're not, but
No,
watch. Just
they're
watch.
not. Although who'd we talk to that was also really optimistic about their
Yeah, who
offense?
was that?
I don't
It's a
remember.
national guy.
It
was Mike
Renner,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And then I also saw, this is not related at all to the AFC East, but another team that I have kind of overlooked that someone was saying to buy stock in, Benjamin Solak, pretty high on the Saints.
Yeah.
And Tyler Shuck, thinking that people are kind of sleeping on them right now and that they could end up making some noise. See, with the Saints, it's easier to buy in because that entire division's so bad that for the last several years you've just had no idea who's going to end up winning it, and guys like back into the playoffs. With the East, it's just every single year you go, okay, are the Bills going to make it out of the divisional round? Are they going to make it to the Super Bowl? And people just kind of turn to Josh Allen assuming as much.
I mean, reigning MVP, or 2 years ago MVP. He's, as long as he has the football in his hands, that team is going to have a chance. They're waiting on Coleman to kind of take that next step as well. I believe they grabbed another receiver. Did DJ Moore go over there? They grabbed another receiver. I forgot who it was. So they made some moves. They made some moves.
Okay, we're going all Mariners from 1 to 2, starting with Mariners insider Shannon Drayer, which means what I need to know is coming your way next. Get your questions in, 866-979-3776. That's next.
Think you know the Mariners? Not if you aren't subscribed to the Daily Mariners newsletter from Seattle Sports.
That's what they've been waiting for.
The latest Mariners news and injury updates, exclusives from Mariners insider Shannon Drayer.
You look at the pieces and how it works.
Plus the best takes and breakdowns from your favorite Seattle sports hosts and contributors.
The Mariners seem to be trying to build something that I think is a little bit more sustainable.
The Daily Mariners newsletter.
Monster solo home run.
Subscribe at seattlesports.com/newsletter.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Washington is helping men take control of their health with a free, comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value included when starting treatment. Your panel checks key health markers, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidneys, liver, and thyroid, so you can finally understand what your body's been trying to tell you. Since 2011, over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Get answers, get a plan, and start feeling better. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free, comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
Mariners and A's tonight in Sacramento. 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse, your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Do you have a car, truck, or SUV you're willing to sell? How about an RV or commercial vehicle? Wayscar Ford in Auburn will buy it from you. And when they resell your old vehicle, they'll split the profit with you 50-50. That's right. You'll get paid twice. I'm here with Mark Clymer of Wayscar Ford. Mark, I'm not surprised your vehicle profit sharing program's doing well. It's a fantastic offer.
It sure is, Stacy. We've been buying a lot of cars off this thanks to your advertising. And I got to tell you, customers are loving it. They're getting top dollar for their vehicle up front. They're getting paid right now. And the best part is when we resell that vehicle, they're getting 50% of the profit. A lot of people have vehicles right now that are sitting around and they're worth a lot of money and they're saying, you know, what the heck? I want to sell it. I don't want to deal with it myself, but I don't want to give it away either. This is the perfect opportunity for them to get the most they can for the car without having to go through the hassle of selling it themselves.
Exclusively at Wayscar Ford, celebrating 104 years in Auburn. WayscarFord.com. That's WayscarFord.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for what I need to know. 866-979-3776. My question, we had been talking a lot about player happiness or unhappiness, clubhouse culture, etc. Are we seeing more drama unfold from the Cal Raleigh-Rosarena beef? Did it fracture the clubhouse or divide the clubhouse?
It did something. It wasn't something that they just ignored. I don't think it was something that was the reason why, you know, guys didn't get off to fast starts or anything like that. But it was definitely an issue, something they had to talk about or address. But no, I think poor play this comes from maybe not having the offseason that you typically have, not being healthy. But no, I think these guys are professionals. I've played with guys I don't like, so
yeah,
and it works.
And I'm sure both of these two have before. I think, like Bump, that it was very real for a while. I don't know that it's like the primary issue right now, though. I think that the unhappiness of your starters, and I would imagine, like, we haven't really talked about it a ton, but like of the platoon guys, Ref Snyder's confidence is shot. Guys like Dom or Luke or whoever else are like, can I get more chances here, right? Like, it's just, I think that there's other things that are bigger right now than that. Plus, wasn't there a while back where Randy drove Cal in against Houston, and they did their quick little celebration?
Yeah.
I think that that's mostly in the rear view.
Yeah, most definitely.
866-979-3776. You get to choose a fictional family to be part of. TV family, they said. Which one do you choose? I think we've gotten a similar one.
Fictional family. You know what? I'd probably side the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in that family. Because, you're living in a nice house. They probably got resources for days, connections. Yeah, I go with them.
Oh, I love this question. From the 425, what I need to know. Stacy, you're the manager. Bump and Curtis are the piggybacking pitchers. Stacy, how do you handle any emotional meltdowns? So I'm a big, eat my feelings person. I find that food and TV really helps me. So I think what I do is I get us all to go get snacks and watch the Summer House reunion part 1 tonight, and just kind of remind ourselves that we can all have fun together. We're all a family, and also nothing we're dealing with is as dramatic as the scandal we're seeing unfold on Bravo right now.
That'll do it.
No, I think that resonated with a lot of listeners too.
That'll do it.
No, I don't. That's my joking answer. In terms of what Dan does, I genuinely don't know. It's above my pay grade. I'm not qualified to make the decision. I don't envy the spot of professional coaches and managers for navigating those personalities, but it's just the reality of the job. This isn't Little League. It's not Pee-wee hockey or whatever else. These are grown men. Mm-hmm. And it's why some guys don't work. This is a very different thing, but Urban Meyer, when he went to Jacksonville, didn't know how to treat those men like adults. That was a problem.
Right.
So, what would your approach be if me and Curtis were the piggybackers?
Bring you into the office, sit down, explain the situation. This is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, you are not piggybacking me with Stacy. All right, Bump. Let's be real.
If you don't piggyback me and Curtis, I'm going to start crying.
I will throw my glove. I will throw my jacket. If you take me out of that game and replace me with Stacy.
And then I'm just waving off to the side. I'm like, what if we just rotate? What if we both are on the mound together?
No.
And we just pitch one by one.
Doesn't work that way.
What if I'm just there, but an emotional support? And I'm not allowed to play defense.
You're not being realistic.
What if I started? No, see, this is how I know that we'd be doing it. I think if I started crying, Bump would let me piggyback.
No.
Nah. I've dealt with crying athletes before.
866-979-3776. What I need to know. You get to have an infinite. We've gotten this one before, but I like it. You get to have an infinite amount of liquid come out of each of your fingers. What 5 are you choosing?
Water.
Yeah.
Boring, but sure.
Gatorade with electrolytes.
Okay.
Tequila.
Okay.
Beer.
Okay.
And lemonade.
Curtis.
I'm good with Bump's first 2 of water and Gatorade. Because I have little kids and they drink tons and tons of milk, I'd have milk come out of one of my fingers just so that you can cook with milk. It's very versatile.
You're just making it weird.
No, I'm saving money and being smart. You're going to be like, iced coffee.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to say that.
Fresca.
Let's stop choosing all of my
Stacy.
answers before I say them. Fresca would not be one of them, but sparkling water and iced coffee would be. Also, gasoline. What the heck?
Gasoline.
Yeah, fill up your tank.
Yeah.
I'm the weird one for trying to save money? You're doing it for the exact same reasons.
What would the other ones be, Curtis? You have, I think, 3 more. 2 more. You have water, Gatorade, milk.
Brenna loves Dr. Pepper. We're just trying to save money here, so we're Dr. Pepper. That's coming out of another one.
Okay.
And then, sure, we'll go with a beer as the fifth.
Mine is sparkling water, Gatorade Zero, Cherry Glacier, iced coffee, gasoline, and maybe like soy sauce. I'm thinking of like
soy
sauce.
Get out of here! No,
like if you're eating like something that
you don't get a clown on milk.
No,
if
I'm not.
Soy
I take it back.
sauce
I take
is
it
one
back.
of
I
your
take it back.
5 liquids.
I take it back. I don't want soy sauce anymore.
Yeah, because
I was thinking of just versatile. I was thinking of versatile things. So my last one is going to be. I guess if I have iced coffee, I can do like non-fat milk in the pinky.
And you're talking
about milk with me, and you
I'm gonna start crying. I'm gonna start crying. I'm gonna start crying.
Unbelievable.
866-979-3776. What I need to know. Someone said you got to go water, gasoline, liquid gold, blood, and tequila.
Gosh.
Why would you want to make blood come out of one of your fingers? That would be weird.
They said that type of blood that almost O positive or O blood. I mean,
one that like you can donate to anybody?
Yeah, I guess if you're, like being a hero somewhere, you never know when someone could need a blood transfusion. So, no defense. Did Stacy just turn into James Harden?
Yes.
All Mariners from 1 to 2. Gary Hill and Alex Mira joining us at 1:30 and 1:45, but we're getting started with Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. She joins us next.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Wait, before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today. Donate your car today.
Justin's an avid skier, and a hard fall on the mountain changed everything.
I wound up tearing my meniscus, and then I found out that I also had osteoarthritis.
The pain was relentless.
Initially, it was probably a 7 or 8, but then it just continued and never went away.
It wasn't just pain, it was how he moved.
The biggest issue I had was simply walking. I could not walk without limping.
Others might have looked into surgery, but Justin chose stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. How's it now?
I'm back to skiing as hard as I can, and I don't even notice my knee anymore.
And the recovery?
Well, the biggest thing is I was walking without a limp within weeks, where I had been limping for the last year or so. Now I just feel totally normal. I feel like I can do anything that I ever did.
Before you choose surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first, the most experienced in the Northwest with over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a data analyst.
Hey, what model did you use for these quarterly projections?
Astrology. If Mercury's in retrograde, sales tank. If Venus is rising, we crush Q4.
You built our revenue forecast off horoscopes?
Yeah, the Zodiac never lies.
This is the job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are 1.5 games back of the A's for first place in the AL West with 2 more to play. Game 2 tonight at 6:40 p.m. with a 5:30 p.m. pregame show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Emerson Hancock on the mound. The Knicks advanced out of the East to make their first appearance in the NBA Finals since 1999. Tonight, it's Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Spurs Thunder tips off at 5:30.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is The Dugout, taking you inside your Seattle Mariners.
Swing and a miss, and he got him with a slider.
Presented by Top Fitness.
On the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Swinging a shot over the bag at first, fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single.
Time to grab a seat and talk Mariners baseball in The Dugout.
We are joined now by Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Shannon, last night was a win, one badly needed by the Mariners, especially against the A's. They can make up ground here and return to Seattle first place in the AL West, which is great. But it was kind of a weird tone because despite putting up 9 runs, we saw what looked like an uncomfortable Bryce Miller and a clearly unhappy Luis Castillo in the dugout because of this piggyback situation. I want to start by asking, because you know both of these players, whether you'd seen anything like that before, and also, is it a problem?
Yeah, it's just such a unique situation because we don't see veterans piggybacked. It's something that has been used in the minor leagues. It has been something that has been used when perhaps you are bringing a young starter up, like they did it with Jacob Mizrowski in Milwaukee. They did it with Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh, and they kind of did it with a couple of the Mariners starters when they were young coming up too, when you wanted to manage those innings. And I suppose you could get away with it under that guise once or twice if you have a player that is coming back from a rehab assignment. that perhaps hasn't been stretched out too much, although Bryce Miller was pretty stretched out. He could have probably done one more if he wanted to get up to where you'd be for a full game for a starter at this point of the season. But, it probably didn't hurt the first time. So now to be in a spot that is just not, I think, terribly defined for the players, I think that is the part that is most uncomfortable. We know the concept. We've talked to the various people involved in the whys and the how they think it can benefit them. And there are certain aspects of that make sense on paper, but in practicality, it's so much tougher when you are dealing with not just two human beings, but two very accomplished, two different extents, major league starting pitchers. I mean, these are guys that are accustomed to taking the team on their back every fifth day and, giving absolutely everything they have in that effort. And now their routines have been shaken up if they are the pitcher that is following. And then also you have the situation of, well, I'm going to give everything I've got, and I might have more, but I might still have to come out, but it's still my game. So it's just a tough situation. And throw in the fact, and I don't think this hurts it at all, but it just makes it that much more awkward. Bryce and Castillo love each other. There is no rivalry here for that. And I don't think anybody quite knows, what to do. You're not going to send Emerson Hancock down. He's been one of your best starters for the season. Nobody wants to see that. I don't think anybody really thinks a bullpen job for any of them makes a ton of sense. So there's just so much uncertainty and so much, I think, discomfort with it. And I think Bryce Miller, after both starts, has probably put it the best in the way that he has described it. And both players have said that if this is the way that we are going, we will do what we need to do. But I think it's clear that neither one of them like it very much.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, right? You saw the reaction to Castillo and then Miller after the game. It's an adjustment. And, we've spoken to other voices, Shannon, and they've pretty much said that this isn't a permanent type of thing. It's the second time through. Do you think we see another piggyback situation, or do you feel like a different decision is made before that time?
I think the plan is to do another one. I don't know if what we saw last night changes anything. I think that they are very much taking it. No, maybe not. I mean, when they did the six-man rotation, and they put it out there that we're doing this, and I think the thought with a lot of people was they were going forward with a six-man rotation. Behind the scenes, they were very clear with us when we talked to them, we're only doing this once here. Doesn't mean they can't do it once somewhere else, but the six-man rotation is something that they have been against for a long, long time. It's not something they want to do. And as far as the piggyback goes, when they talked about that in those same conversations, it very much sounded like that was a direction that they were going to go for a little while. So you had a one-off versus a direction. And I think the assumption has been that, the same assumption when you've been waiting for Bryce to come along. Who's blessed with too much starting pitching? Nobody in this game. We'll be blessed if we get to that point. It was pretty close to the quote that we got from Justin Hollander. Well, they got to that point and they had to deal with it. And now I think that there are various answers that could come from this, but I don't think they come after just one or two starts. And I do think that they are, or I do know that they went into this allowing for more than one or two go-throughs with this.
There's just so many moving pieces and questions with this team. One of those is also at third, where, maybe Brandon Donovan comes back and resumes that spot, and he's the everyday third baseman, and that's what it is. But you also have JP offering to play there, Colt there right now, though obviously profiles as your top shortstop prospect, so you'd want him to eventually go there. Do you think that's something that Seattle ideally would love to solve soon? And do you think they still lean Donovan there, or does JP profile as an option there this year, like a realistic one?
I think it is great what JP Crawford did in offering to move to third base, but we're getting into the practicality sense of it again. You have Brendan Donovan, who is going to come back at some point, and he was just getting to the point where he felt comfortable at third base and was starting to look a little bit more refined than he did, say, in spring training. Well, that's where JP would be starting right now, basically where Brendan Donovan was at spring training. And I don't think that it is as easy as a transition as just moving over to that spot. And so I think you have to keep that in mind. I think if we ever saw JP over there, I don't think it would be a wholesale flip. This is how it's going to be now. Colt Emerson is at shortstop every day, and JP Crawford is at third base. And then the other problem that you have that perhaps becomes even bigger is how do you use Brendan Donovan at that point? And, well, you say you can move him around, but where and how? It's a lot tougher when you think about that, and that his options are left field and the infield. If Colt, you don't want any of your young players looking over their shoulders. You don't want, Cole Young has had the tiniest bit of a struggle. You don't want people to be all of a sudden wondering, oh, is Brendan Donovan going to go over there? No, he needs to be allowed to have the normal tiny struggles over there. So I think you would be limited to outfield, which obviously would just be the corners. But, we didn't even see Brendan Donovan take any balls in the outfield in spring training. So I don't think that it has been in an earnest plan that, well, we can just move him around when we get to that point. And then throw in the fact that he's coming off of the core injury and the uncertainty that he has coming off that surgery. Is it a really good idea to have him running around out in the outfield or playing a different position every day? So I don't think that works as well as, I think it's a nice idea. I don't think it is as simple, and I don't think it would be anything wholesale if it happened, provided everybody is healthy and everybody is productive enough. But I think it might be tough to move Donovan around this season for the reasons that I just mentioned. And nobody has told me that. That's just kind of a sense that I am getting with that. And then the other thing that I would say, and it goes back to the first thing that I said about this, and that it's not as easy as just moving to third. We haven't seen JP a ton at third base even before the games.
Yeah.
We've seen him when we have. It's just been for a couple of minutes. It hasn't been other than the first time he did it, and he was no throw that day. We're going to go out there and really work on something there. It's just let's try this, get a little feel. It hasn't been we're going to show you the angles. We're going to show you, where you're going to run when you are going to attempt to make this throw. We're going to let you see what it looks like over there. It's a little different than shortstop, that kind of thing. So I haven't seen the heavy duty. We're getting this guy ready for that position.
Shannon, what's the update on Cal, and how do you feel Mitch and Brady have been doing?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second part of that.
How do you feel his backups, Mitch and Pareda, have been doing in his absence?
I really like what Mitch and Pareda have been doing in his absence. I think that going into that, you're just hoping that they can hold things down defensively behind the plate and handle the pitching. They've done that no problem. Mitch Garver has, great knowledge and great relationships with all of the pitchers on the staff. And Pareda is a catcher that the pitching coaches really like working with that staff. He earned that in spring training. He's worked with them all. He seems comfortable back there. I am a little bit intrigued by his bat. Yes, he's been in the minors for, I think, 14 years. But what we're seeing when he makes contact right now is he hits the ball hard. He has a very high hard hit rate in these short games that he's been up, and that's been fun to see. And you wonder, why has this taken so long? And in talking with him, he did make some changes in AAA, and we'll see if that translates into more hits or into more extra base hits, which is fun. And then Mitch Garver's going to run into one every now and then. And that's what you would expect from your backup catcher. But I do think that he does an extraordinary job when it comes to working with pitchers who perhaps are going through a little bit of a struggle. He really likes to get creative with things. We have seen him use a little bit different pitch mixes with, everyone from Logan Gilbert to, even Emerson Hancock a little bit to most recently Andres Munoz, and not letting him throw a fastball, four-seam fastball in an appearance against the Royals. So I like what he does. As for Cal, we heard yesterday that he was scheduled to play a light catch in Arizona, and that was the first time I believe he has done any kind of baseball activity. So he was eligible. He had done his 10 days as of the 24th. He's already eligible to come back right now. But if he is only just starting baseball activities, he obviously is going to be out for, a few more weeks, I would imagine. And my hope, as it always has been, is he'll get a nice rehab appearance, not just to get his eyes adjusted once, that maybe he can face some live pitching at AAA, at AA, where some of the bigger arms, or wherever it is, where he can really kind of try and lock in with his swings and perhaps get some of the stuff he wasn't able to get in spring training.
She is Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
Some breaking pitching news for the A's. We'll get to that at 1:30 with Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill. Coming up next, the latest from Jeff Passan.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? Hey, Brock Heward here, and working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years. And you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months, plus mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here. So go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info.
Do you need a new roof? Then trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing to get you taken care of this spring. Schedule your free estimate at 3treeroofing.com and secure $500 off your roof replacement. Right now, you can still take advantage of spring pricing and beat the summer rush. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found tax relief advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
Back to the dugout on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Jeff Passan was a guest on Brock and Salk this morning. Unsurprisingly, a lot to talk about when it came to the piggyback, but a few other things here. Let's start with Passan being asked bluntly, we'll go to cut 19, about his thoughts on the piggyback and whether or not it's effective.
If we want to just talk about in terms of effectiveness, the Mariners won 9-2 yesterday, and that's pretty good. But effectiveness is only as good as the contentment of the people involved with it. And it is abundantly clear, and I'm not saying anything nobody can see with their own two eyes, that Luis Castillo is very unhappy right now. And I understand you can go with the whole, hey, pitch better, and you wouldn't be in this situation. You can go with, hey, be a team player. This is the role that they need you in. But sometimes it's not that easy.
I thought that was an interesting answer, Bump, because I'm seeing some pushback from people who, let's say, are all for it or who don't like Castillo or Miller's reactions, saying, but it worked. It got you a win. What are you complaining about? I thought it was interesting to hear Jeff say, well, the contentment of the people that are part of the piggyback matters just as much.
Yeah, because it worked, but if one isn't satisfied or clear in how this is going to go, what the approach is going to be, it's going to affect your play. You can't affect it. Some people play better when they're angry. Some people don't. Some people need a little motivation. Some people don't. I don't know their personalities well enough to completely understand what they're feeling in that moment. I can see that Castillo was mad. I can hear that Miller was a bit uncomfortable. That doesn't mean that they can't be resilient and kind of bounce back from this either. So, yeah, it does matter. You can just say, shut up and play ball. You're getting paid to do a job. And they're going to go out there and do it. They're not going to refuse a start or refuse a piggyback coming off the bench or whatever. But you want everyone to feel like their roles are understood.
Yeah.
And right now it doesn't quite feel like that.
Understandably, Brock and Salk asked Jeff, well, what would you say to those people? We're going to go to cut 22. What would you say to those people who say, well, just shut up and do what you're told?
I think it's more that they not the role itself. It's that they don't necessarily feel appreciated, right? This is an identity thing. And when your identity is as a starting pitcher, there are certain things that come with that. And one of them is if you're pitching well, you will continue pitching. And so that gets taken away. And then Bryce Miller, it's like, I'm a starting pitcher. What am I doing coming in the fifth inning? You know, one thing, guys, that has made the Tampa Bay Rays right now the best record in baseball, or best record in the American League. What's made them a very successful franchise is that they have done a really good job of getting guys on board with roles.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about understanding where those guys fit best in their roles. And look, if you think Castillo is best right now as a bullpen arm, then have that conversation with Castillo. Be very honest about it. And I don't know that they haven't had that, but then, figure it out. That's on you to figure out. Because what you're doing now is just making two people very unhappy. Bump, to your point earlier, it sure doesn't look like Castillo was well aware that he would be leaving in that game. He has the reaction of someone who thought, well, if I'm looking good, I can stay in, right? There's something lost here.
Yeah, that's the thing, too, is that he could have been told, all right, no matter what, you're getting 4 innings in and they were going that way. But as an athlete, too, you're also thinking, well, if I'm going out there and I'm playing some good ball, why would they take me out?
And I haven't in a minute, so this is good. What if I can go 6 and I get my first quality start in a while?
When you're having success, man, you want to keep that feeling going. And I think that's probably more of why he was upset, was that I'm playing some good ball right now. I know this is the plan, but I think that, Dan is wise enough and smart enough to deviate from it if I'm looking good. So, it could be a number of things, but I doubt that Castillo went to that game not understanding what the plan was.
Well, and Joseph in the 253 says Castillo's also probably mad about the lack of fairness. Bryce started and was allowed to go 6, and then Castillo started and was pulled after 4. Neither had given up a run. And if you want to say, oh, well, Castillo's so bad through the third time through the order, whatever it is, all right, but at that point, you went up, 4-5 to nothing early? You had wiggle room there for him to make a mistake. If you were to put him back out there and he starts to struggle, if you pull him, he knows why he's being pulled. Mm-hmm. At this point, he understands what's happening. This was not a 1-0 game, 2-0 game. And it sounds like just the cost of not being as bluntly honest with Castillo as you need to be is him and Bryce being confused. And then you got to worry about tension between the two of them and the rest of the pitching staff. These are guys that we always hear from other interviews. It's so cool that they all get along. They're all friends. They all love spending time together. It's what makes them so great as a group. You're hurting that. I for one, am completely stumped as to how someone would not understand that chemistry, clear communication, understanding your job matters to players. That you would think you can just tell a grown man, just do it. Why are you complaining? Is beyond me.
Yeah. I know baseball is, and in this situation, when it comes to the piggyback, that's as close as it's going to get to football with me, because they have 5 days to figure out exactly what their role is going to be. During football or during the course of a week, like I know by Thursday how involved I'm going to be in this game plan. Are they dialing things up for me? Are they drawing things up for me or not? So if this is the case and they're just sitting around for 5 days without any type of communication, something needs to be worked on.
Yep.
But that would just be so irresponsible for them not to have a clearer plan and talk to these, especially Castillo. Like Castillo's the OG. He's been in this game for a long time. He deserves that. Miller deserves it too. But Castillo, he's the OG, and it's something that we've heard Shannon say and other analysts say that this is something you typically don't do with older guys. So because it's kind of deviates from the norm, you would think you'd be a bit more cautious with Castillo and making sure he understands what's going on.
Well, I think it's just frustrating because I would hope that the Mariners understand how vulnerable they are right now. The American League is so bad and the American League West is so bad that despite having one of the most disappointing starts, you can be in first place in your division come Friday when you open up a series here in Seattle. That's fantastic. That's great news. And I know that you're missing some key players, and that's really important too. There's also a lot to potentially be excited about. Julio's having the best start of his career, right? Emerson Hancock is, for good reason, putting you in this position in the first place. All kinds of things to talk about. You just got Gabe Spire back, etc. But I think this is a team that should, I would hope, be very honest to itself about how vulnerable they are and the things they need to focus on. You can't just spreadsheet your way through this. You need to be very aware of clubhouse culture right now because it's been weird all year long. It's been super weird all year. Again, a lot to be excited about overall. I still feel good about them in the American League, but I want to talk about a World Series. I don't want to talk about just getting to the playoffs. Let's go to cut 26. This is Jeff when asked whether he's surprised the Mariners are on pace for just 75 wins.
I mean, it's a combination of everything. Like, they just haven't been good. You know, the hitting, the number of guys who are not hitting up to expectations has been rough. The starting pitching has been fine. It hasn't been good, though. It hasn't been to the level that we expected. The bullpen, especially when Brash was out, looked thin. Defense, they're not a good defensive team, and that surprises me a little bit. Figured with what they have up the middle, they would be better defensively. They have not been there. I'm not saying that this is the worst version of the Mariners that we're going to see, but it feels like the 10th or 20th percentile, and to have that over the course of almost 2 months, like, I'm a little surprised they haven't woken up yet.
Now, the good news is you've been that, and again, you could still be in first place. Yeah. You've been playing some of your worst baseball, certainly inconsistent baseball, and you could take this series from the A's and be in first place. But, Bump, we're not just talking about first place. We're talking about getting to a World Series. What do you need to start seeing from this team?
Let's take it one step at a time. Let's focus on the A's.
Let's not look past
get first
that.
place in the division because have we ever been? We haven't touched first place yet this year, right?
No.
Yeah, so little baby steps at a time, I think. But really, it's just being healthy and then consistency after that. You know, that's what's been missing with this team. You're not going to get a 50-bomb season from Cal unless he comes back and gets hot. You have gotten some explosive play out of some other players there. But it just comes down to availability and consistency. So first, let's go and get this division. Focus on catching the A's. Win these next 2, you catch these guys.
All right, you are listening to The Dugout, all Mariners from 1 to 2 on the Seattle Sports app. We had some breaking news when it comes to A's pitching earlier this hour. We haven't gotten to it yet because we're going to bring on Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill, ask him about it and what it means for the Mariners in Game 2 today. He joins us next.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
Oh, man, the ups and downs of any baseball season are obviously incredible, but this one feels like it's got a lot of ups and downs.
Beyond the expectations, why does this feel so volatile? Is there's kind of like real life stuff off the field, the real life injury stuff.
I think it's being close. I think it's feeling like that goal is right in front of you. You got to the ALCS last year. You are so close.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place. With People Come First.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
You'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Back to the dugout on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Some A's pitching news a little earlier this hour. Gage Jump will start tonight's game. Lefty against the Mariners. Severino pushed back. Joining us right now, Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill. We were going to talk about the piggyback, questions about Cal, and we will get to that. But I wanted to start by asking specifically about the lefty lineup for this team, which has received a ton of criticism. And some of those platoon bats that they were excited to get just haven't quite performed yet. So how impactful is this news then, Gary, that the A's are going with a lefty tonight?
Yeah, lefty tonight, and I'm curious whether they're going to push Severino out of the series totally and face another lefty tomorrow. That was Jeffrey Springs on the docket. So, hey, there's no hiding from it. The Mariners have really struggled against lefties, and not only starters, but we've seen teams that have a couple lefties in the bullpen really trying to attack the bottom of the lineup with their lefties and trying to get Rayleigh and Canzone out of the game. We've seen that consistently. And, I think there's a few reasons why the Mariners haven't hit lefties as well this year. And one, Cal being out, you kind of look at the production last year. Cal hit 22 home runs off of lefties last season, which is one of the biggest numbers in baseball history against lefties in a single year. And that's a lot of production that they just haven't had. Not only he's out now, obviously, but he wasn't hitting lefties at the same clip. And then Refsnyder obviously is not hit well against lefties either. So there's a few reasons for what we've seen so far. But teams are going to keep attacking with lefties until the Mariners can figure it out. And I think about the Refsnyder situation. He's a guy that has had a track record for years of hitting lefties, including last year. So while the frustration is there with Refsnyder, I still think to myself, what's the most likely scenario? Who's most likely to start hitting lefties moving forward starting today? And I still feel like that's Refsnyder right now. And you hope that it starts today, and you hope that it happens tomorrow as well. And there's a reason why they platoon. Like, you look at Rayleigh, who's just crushing righties. He has one of the best slugs against righties in baseball right now. But, he's been in the majors for a while, and he's never really hit lefties. And so there's a reason why they planned on a platoon. That side has worked out great. They just need the other side to start working out as well.
Gary, what do you think the chemistry is like with this team right now? Obviously, during a long season, there are going to be ups and downs, and no team is just flying high the whole season unless you're winning 100-plus games. Just how do you feel like the chemistry is with this group?
I think the chemistry is fine. Things are always better when you're winning, clearly, and it's been frustrating because it feels like they've never been able to get off the ground so far this season. And I don't know, maybe last night was the starting point for something. And playing the A's, certainly the team ahead of them in the division, that was a really nice win, because you think about a sweep either way and what a big difference it would make. The A's could have built a nice lead after this series with a 3-game sweep. On the other side, the Mariners could be in first place with a 3-game sweep. So it's one of those big swing series, right? And so I always think winning is a big part of chemistry. But I think it's fine. And of course, I'm sure the question's coming about the situation last night with the starters. I don't think that harms chemistry within the team. I don't think Miller is mad at Castillo. I don't think Castillo is mad at Miller. I think they really like each other and enjoy each other. So I don't think that situation has anything to do with team chemistry either.
No, and I remember reading once that those two especially were really close, which I thought was just really funny, as one of the youngest guys, and then obviously your older starter. So I think it can make it uncomfortable, but not add any animosity. I think, Gary, what I worry about is the confidence that players should have in coaching and in a front office. And I know this isn't a different sport entirely, but I remember hearing someone talk about some players from another league that were frustrated with like a lack of direction. And I think one thing I've learned about athletes is they love routine and they want to know that you have answers. Maybe not like that doesn't mean everything's going to go right? But that you believe in what you're doing and there's a sense of direction and people are on the same page. Do you think that that's something that might need to be ironed out here?
Well, here's how I kind of look at the situation. I don't think a decision can be made, no matter what the decision is, and everyone will be happy. I think someone will be mad no matter what decision that the Mariners make right now. If you send a guy to the bullpen, that guy's not going to be happy about it. If you go to a 6-man rotation, there's probably a couple of guys that won't be happy about it, right? I don't think there is a decision that can be made that everyone's going to be, oh, this is great. But I think there's a reason for it, because you look at all 6 guys and they all belong in a major league rotation, right? I mean, you look at Castillo's frustration last night, and if I'm a Mariners fan, I'm like, yeah, like I want my guy to be frustrated in that situation. That's what has made him so good the past 10 years, right? He's a competitor. I know on the mound, he doesn't show much. Like he doesn't give away whether he's pitching great or whether he's getting shelled, but it burns, man. He's got a passion for this. And I think that it's fine that he's frustrated. It's fine that Miller's frustrated because that's what makes them good, right? They should be frustrated in this. Like Miller, I'm sure, is saying to himself, hey, I'm one of the best pitchers in baseball. I should be in the rotation. Castillo's saying, look at what I've done the past few years. I should be in the rotation. The thing is, not everyone can be in the rotation. And I look at it as the reason that the Mariners are in this situation. We all expected Emerson Hancock to go to the bullpen or back to AAA after this. There's a reason why we're talking about Miller and Castillo. It's because Emerson Hancock has been the most consistent pitcher for the Mariners this year. He's been excellent. He's removed himself from this conversation completely. He's been so good. So I think that can happen for the other guys too. I think performance is going to dictate where this thing goes. I don't think we'll be in a piggyback. I don't think the Mariners will be in a piggyback the rest of the season. I think this is what's happening for now. But I think performance is going to end up dictating what ends up happening at the end of the day.
Do you feel like this whole scenario is being set up to where the Mariners once again make a big move at the trade deadline?
I don't know. I more think that the reality in Major League Baseball is you're going to need both guys to start games the rest of the way. I just don't – it's not the way baseball works where everyone's going to be healthy the rest of the way and perform the rest of the way. I just think that Castillo's going to take starts for the Mariners, like real starts, and Miller's going to take starts for the Mariners the rest of the way. I just think that's what's going to end up happening because that's the way baseball works. Like guys don't go through a whole season without a trip to the IL or whatever else. So I think what this does, it buys the Mariners time where they both maintain a pitch count where you can kind of seamlessly continue that. Now, if everyone stays healthy for the rest of the season, I guess I'd be wrong on that and they'd have to make a decision at some point, but that usually doesn't happen. So we'll see how it plays out.
Speaking of IL stints, Cal Raleigh currently on his first, which is crazy enough as is. When he was placed on the 10-day IL, I think that all of us expected for an oblique, if it's like grade 1-ish for a hitter, you know, between around 4 weeks maybe is what he'd be out. We heard that he is, and they haven't clarified, so we know that no one knows. Yeah. We know that he's resumed some light catching activity. I was asking Bump and Curtis this question during the break, so I'll ask you as well. Do you think we see Cal before the All-Star break, and how much before the All-Star break? And again, this is barring setback, right? This is just assuming that based on kind of what your gut tells you about an oblique strain for a hitter, especially for an everyday catcher.
Yeah, I feel like yes, but it's a great question because you start to think about the timeline and while you're staring at the end of June and the All-Star break is right around the corner after that. So it's possible it wouldn't be till after, but I get a sense since he has started activities already, it would be before that. But it's kind of unknown given the scenarios. And we haven't heard much since he's been away. We've just heard he's resumed activities and assuming that's gone well. We hope clearly that it's sooner rather than later because the bat it's shown up, you know, not having him in the lineup, not having Donovan in the lineup. There's been times where, hey, they were supposed to be the 1-2 in the order. And, you know, there's no one stepping in while Garver and Pareda, I think, have done a good job for who they are in their roles and everything. They've done a good job, but there's no replacing that impact, right? That impact bat. Even when he's struggling, he still popped a bunch of homers and still batting at the top of the order. So there's just no someone walking in and replacing that. So hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
He is Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill, kind enough to join us to help preview this game and obviously talk about some kind of weird stuff going on with the Mariners. And it's crazy to say, you know, I don't want to be too down on them because once again, and Bump and I have pointed this out multiple times, they could be in first place in a couple of days. So congratulations to the Mariners on a win. Lots of good stuff to talk about here. But Gary, we will let you go. Get ready for the rest of this series. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, no problem. No, I get it. It's been frustrating. And hopefully we've all been kind of waiting for them to take off, right? And it hasn't happened so far this year. And I guess the good thing is you look at the division and no one has taken off. I feel like the first team to win 8 out of 10
They're going to do it.
The first team to go on a run like that is going to have the advantage, and maybe it will be the Mariners. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed. Well, thank you again, Gary. After every game win from the Mariners, Alex Mayer has his game-winning stat. So I'm hoping that we've got some good ones after this one that maybe bode well for taking the series. Alex joins us next.
Think you know the Mariners? Not if you aren't subscribed to the Daily Mariners newsletter from Seattle Sports.
That's what they've been waiting for.
The latest Mariners news and injury updates, exclusives from Mariners insider Shannon Drayer.
You look at the pieces and how it works.
Plus the best takes and breakdowns from your favorite Seattle sports hosts and contributors.
The Mariners seem to be trying to build something that I think is a little bit more sustainable.
The Daily Mariners newsletter.
Monster solo home run.
Subscribe at seattlesports.com/newsletter.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years, and you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months, plus mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here, so go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Washington is helping men take control of their health with a free, comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value included when starting treatment. Your panel checks key health markers, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidneys, liver, and thyroid, so you can finally understand what your body's been trying to tell you. Since 2011, over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Get answers, get a plan, and start feeling better. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free, comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Can you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Spring is here, Seattle, and now is the smartest time to replace your roof. Trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing, a local, family-owned company that knows how to roof in Washington weather year-round. Schedule your free estimate today at 3treeroofing.com to take advantage of spring pricing, shorter wait times, and get $500 off your new roof before the summer rush hits. Our experts come to you, build a clear plan, and give you an estimate that same day. No surprises and no high-pressure sales tactics. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Back to the dugout on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
All Mariners from 1 to 2. Joining us right now, Alex Mayer. Alex, you have the game-winning stat after every Mariners win, and it was a pretty pronounced win the other day, 9-2. It was one of those ones where it's like they get ahead pretty early, and you're thinking like, oh, I can breathe a little easier for the rest of this game and just kind of, enjoy it. What was sticking with you? I'll start here after this one in particular.
Yeah, I got to preheat the oven a little bit. I didn't have to wait to cook. It was nice to see a win like that, wasn't it?
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was good to see it from so many people. It wasn't like a Mitch Garver 2-run bomb gives you all the offense you needed, I guess.
Right.
It was everyone gets to race.
Yeah, all phases had a part in that win. But, yeah, to get to the stat, Luke Raley wears number 20, homered in his first ever game at Suter Health Park in West Sacramento, and that kind of surprised me. He didn't even make it there when he was an Oklahoma City Dodger, when he rehabbed with Tacoma. But anyway, the first 20 years, which match his uniform number, of that ballpark from 2000 to 2019, it was called Raley Field. So fitting that he would homer. It was meant to be.
Hey, Alex, obviously we're watching the piggyback drama and stuff go down, and we're talking to Gary, and there's someone who's kind of responsible for the whole piggyback situation. That's our guy, Emerson Hancock, on the mound. Just tell me about how he's been and what he's done for this team.
Hey, that's a great glass half full way to look at it, Bump. You should tell some folks on social media to look at that way. Yeah, I mean, Emerson, tonight's starter, he's pitched himself into not only the rotation, but really like one of the 10 to 12 best pitchers in the American League this season. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. And yeah, as far as the piggyback goes, I know it's kind of the buzz phrase going around now instead of enjoying that 9-2 win. But, I saw the broadcast show Luis Castillo a little emotional when he got taken out of the game. But I think that competitive fuel is what has made him one of the best pitchers in the American League since the Mariners acquired him midway through 2022. So if he just sat there kind of, not caring, that would be a lot more raised for concern than him caring, him wanting to stay in the game, theoretically to record the victory, which still means a lot to pitchers, even in the day of analytics and all that. A win still means a lot. So I think it's a good thing to see the competitive juices flowing among our pitchers. And, for all the talk that the piggybacks kind of garnered, in 2 games, the team has put up a flat 2 ERA with 24 strikeouts and 5 walks. Obviously didn't win the one against the White Sox because the offense only mustered up 1 hit. But to say it hasn't worked or anything like that just would be false.
Are you being chased by a leaf blower?
I don't know. I thought that was on your side. I'm just sitting in the quiet booth. I don't know what that is. I am thoroughly confused right now.
I believe it's on Alex's side because you guys are in a closet, essentially.
Is that the crowd mic? Yep, it's something going on the field. No. Wow. Someone is doing
dragging the infield?
Member of our award-winning grounds crew is doing something to the mound right now.
I love the idea of just like
that
goodness. Guy being unknowingly part of the broadcast.
Yeah.
It's great. I wanted to ask you about the highest on-base percentage for the Mariners since April 22nd. You have a game for us to play.
Yeah, so as you'd imagine, Randy paces the group with a .397 on-base percentage. Who ranks second with a very robust .389 clip, getting on base nearly 40% of the time? This is not a trick question where it's a guy like who has won at bat or whatever. This is a mostly full-time player, .389 on base in the last month plus. Can you name that mystery
Bump,
player?
Let's say our answer at the same time. Ready? One, two, three. JP.
Yeah, JP.
You were no.
No.
Okay, another answer at the same time though. It's more fun that way.
JP's seventh on that list.
1, 2, 3. Julio.
I didn't get bumps.
Right?
Julio's eighth. What did Bump say?
Luke Raley.
8th.
Rails is tied for 10th.
Oh my God!
He's bringing the slugging. Connor Joe is 5th.
Cole Young.
Cole Young is 9th.
What the?
Josh.
Josh is 3rd. I knew it was a good question.
There's another one here.
Who are we missing? It ain't Cal.
So an everyday player, Mitch
Garver.
Wow.
No!
Number 2 on the team in the last month plus, .389 on base. I just wanted to point that out because I feel like you wouldn't choose him first.
We didn't choose him second, 3rd, or 4th.
And you know what? The gal on the grounds crew doing an amazing job on the mound. She just stopped. So
shout out.
Hey, how have you? What have you seen out of Colt Emerson's first 8?
Yeah, Colt's been really impressive. Obviously, he had the huge game the other day where he had 4 hits, 3 doubles. It was just a spectacular performance. But I think more than anything, what we've seen with Cole is he looks like a guy that belongs so far. I think at the age of 20, for as highly touted as he is, it'd be easy to kind of falter. You know, there's so much expectation. There's so many eyes on you, both kind of in our market, but also nationally if you're a big baseball fan. And what he's done is played an excellent third base so far, really good shortstop for what we've seen in the couple games he's played over there. But he's really impressive. I think if you talk to anyone who has even a degree of separation from Colt, they'll say how mature he is, how emotionally intelligent he is. And then from an on-field perspective, I think the one that's stood out to me even more than the 4-hit game is his strikeout percentage. So he was striking out probably a little more than he wanted to at AAA. He was striking out in about 27% of his plate appearances, and he cut that down so far through his first 8 big league games to 21%, while walking even more than he was at AAA. So again, sample size, you hear that buzz phrase in baseball all the time, but it's only 8 games, it's only 28 PAs, but he's striking out less at the big league level than AAA. That's pretty encouraging to see.
While Bump and I did correctly guess Mitch Garver for your question, the reason that I said JP first is even though he's not a player who rakes, he does have a great eye and, draws a ton of walks. And home runs recently, though.
Absolutely,
credit to him for that. But I wanted to focus on another part of JP's game, and that's his role as a veteran and the comments that he made last week. You know JP well. Obviously, you're around this team all the time, so you've seen him, evolve and change over time from being this young, exciting shortstop to making what I think is a really kind of swallowing your pride thing to do for any player and saying, like, hey, I'll move. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I thought that was really cool and really special. And I know we're about a week removed from all of that happening, but I don't think I've had the pleasure of joining you guys since that all went down. But I think JP gets labeled as a leader for very good reason. I think it's kind of cool in sports how, football locker room, baseball clubhouse, a lot of storylines, both good and bad, they make their way publicly. And I think this is like the definition of an amazing one because it was really cool that JP went to Dan Wilson himself. His agent followed up with our GM, Justin Hollander, himself, initiating it. I think every word that JP said to the media was truly authentic and genuine. He wants to finish his career here, even beyond his contract expiring this offseason, and he's willing to do whatever it takes, whether that's moving off shortstop. Guy has a lot of pride. He won a Gold Glove 6 years ago, but knows that, his teammate Colt Emerson could be a generational defender over there. So I just thought that was very noble of JP and really cool to see, and every bit of it is authentic.
He is Alex Mayer, kind enough to join us for the dugout. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks Alex. For having me, and thank you for bearing with whatever that buzzing noise was. Let's get a win tonight.
I appreciated it. It was like having a third character.
Glass half full.
Exactly. Thanks, Alex. That is a good way to look at it. Alex is right. He was saying about your Emerson Hancock comments that, like, it's an incredibly awkward situation to watch unfold, but one that happens because you have an embarrassment of riches. Right. So now what do you do? Either way, we're not talking about it in terms of this game. For this game, what we're talking about is this lefty lineup going out there. A's, if you missed that news breaking earlier this hour, A's rolling out Gage, lefty starter, will be making his MLB debut. Normally I'd say congratulations, best of luck, but not in this case.
Light him up.
Yeah, in this case.
Light him up.
Yeah, get that kid out in the second, I always say. I always say that. This has been The Dugout. Thank you again to Gary Hill, Alex Mayer, and, of course, Shannon Drayer for joining us. Wyman and Bob come up next.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
If you've gained 20, 30, or even 40 or more pounds over the past few years and nothing seems to work anymore, listen up. I'm Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and our completely medication-free program has helped thousands in Washington lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. No drugs, no weekly shots, no muscle loss, no side effects, no forever monthly costs, just food, but the right type, in the right amount at the right time. All part of a detailed plan with expert coaching every step of the way that helps you reset your metabolism and burn fat. Schedule your free phone consult at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Yeah, Mike Salk here, and Dr. Coogan is right. I can attest to losing 35 pounds with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It works. It's safer, less expensive than alternatives, with no injections or pills, and no scary side effects. Schedule a free consult and find out for yourself.
Over 4,000 people have lost 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. Come to our clinic in Kirkland or do our program from anywhere you live with our remote options. Schedule your free phone consult online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to